than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at the Bike, brought to you by the Bicycle Casino in Los Angeles, California. The first and only webcast of real action cash game poker. My name, of course, is Bart Hansen, and I am here with my busy friend, David Tuckman.
Sorry about that. I was just doing some paperwork.
Dave, we're going to be doing a game on here tonight that we've never done before.
Really?
612 limit hold'em.
600, 1200?
Well, 612 limit hold'em.
Oh, 612. Okay.
612. We've always done limit hold'em. We've always done 816. So we're going to do 612 tonight.
Well, let's see if there's a noticeable difference between that.
Yeah.
You know,
So without
curious.
further ado, let's get to the action.
Let's do that.
And you're going to introduce the players.
Let's do it. Limit hold'em. Really your forte, I'd say, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of
You
our
too.
bread and butter here. Seat one, we've got Ben. Good old Ben there. And they're played with $2 chips. This structure is a 3-6 structure, so those chips are $2 chips. Green. Seat two, we've got Michael Poirier. I don't know. Seat three, we've got Jeff Klein. There you go. Seat four, we've got Bio Tran. Seat five, we've got Greg Hubner. Seat six, we've got CJ Parma. And CJ's actually, wow, she's moving all over the place. So I've played 30 with her, I've played 20 with her, and I've played 40 with her. Interesting that she plays 6 as well. Seat 7, we've got Dennis Warren. Seat 8, we've got Joseph Etorma. Good old Joseph there. Each one of those stacks is probably about $40. So you can do the math there. He's got 5 stacks, about $200 there. And seat 9, we've got Jose Tolan.
Okay.
And I think he likes to be called Tolan.
Well, Dave, now if you want to follow a thread, we're going to get into the first hand here, but it looks like we've got Greg. He's got top pair over there in seat 5.
Yeah, nobody else has got much of anything. Well, Bio has now picked up the heart draw.
Yeah, he's picked it up.
Yeah, unfortunately, we only play with 7 cards.
And it looks like Ace 6 is going to bring it down. If you want to follow a live thread that started on the internet, you can go to 2plus2.com, spelled out, click on forums. I just started a thread in the World Poker Tour and other televised tournament sections because I didn't see a thread here by KevMouth. But as I'm looking down, I just noticed that KevMouth PM'd me on 2plus2 and said, "Where do you want to put it?" So, if he hears this, I guess you can look in the small stakes forum section.
Small stakes limit
Small
hold'em
stakes limit hold'em, and you'll find it there.
Well, it's interesting we're jumping around 2plus2 so much.
Right.
Hopefully we can garner some new viewers this way. Pocket Jackson, seat 1, that's Ben. Now, the blinds in this game are actually $1 and $3. Now, when you play a bigger game, like in a 30-60 game, same 3-6 structure, but the small blind in that game is actually 2 chips. So it's $20 and $30, it's small and big blind. But in this game, it's only 1 chip and then 3 chips.
Three-way action here.
All diamonds here. Now, Greg has got kings, and he has the king of diamonds in his hand, so not a bad flop for kings. And Greg's going to bet it. Jose's quickly out with queen 10, but Ben's going to call with pair of jacks, and he's drawing dead now.
Well, there's nothing like drawing dead, right?
I mean, he was in bad shape before that 3 of diamonds, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He needed the jack of hearts and only the jack of hearts to help him out. And he's going to call with 2 black jacks.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Actually, I actually think he bet. No, he bet with jacks, and Greg is going to raise it.
Yep.
And Ben is going to throw his hand away. Okay, so Ben was trying to represent the diamond, hoping that his opponent had an ace and was scared of the diamond, but
Yep.
obviously not.
Can't straddle on a game like this, right? No.
So nothing like 612 limit hold'em, dude.
Yeah, when was the last time you played 612?
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. It's been a long time. So, you know.
I remember playing. I actually really enjoyed this game when I was moving up through the ranks of and moving up levels.
Yep.
I really enjoyed the 3-6 structure. So I actually went from 3-6 to 6-12 to 9-18, and then I actually liked 15-30, and now I really 30-60. So I mean, I've always liked that 3-6 structure.
The only thing about 3-6 structure they have to say about it is, and it doesn't apply in this game, because in this game you've got one chip in the small blind. The only
Right.
problem with 3-6 is up at the upper limits you've got two chips in the small blind. So it's almost like taking two blinds in essence, because
Yeah.
you're usually going to complete that small blind if the pot is limped around, regardless of what you have. This pot was limped around.
Yeah, limped around. Surprising, Michael with pocket jacks chose to limp around here,
Yep.
and Jose has got top pair now, Queen 10,
Yep.
and he's on the button,
Raise.
and he's going to raise it up.
Yep.
And I think it's heads up here between Joseph and Jose.
Top pair here.
Yeah, and Joseph's in really bad shape because they share a 10 here.
Yep.
And then Joseph needs a 9, only a 9. And he checks it, and Jose's going to bet with top pair. And Joseph's going to call.
Yeah.
River's an 8 of diamonds, no help. And I love the bet by Jose. Jose bet the river there. Look at that. It's kind of a scary card, too. If somebody had Jack 10, the 8 of diamonds would complete that straight.
Yeah.
But he bet it.
Takes it down. So again, you can also always email us at live@thebike.com. I've been so quiet the first couple minutes of the show, Dave, because I was just trying to get our little interactivity up there with our friends.
Yeah.
Our good buddy that starts the thread
Kept Matt.
tonight. Yeah. I was thinking to myself when I was coming in this afternoon, I was like, well, if we do a limit game and we move the thread over to high stakes, no limit, and pot limit, where's it going to go tonight?
Raise from seat 4. Bio is going to raise with ace 9.
Yeah.
Ace 8, I'm sorry. Offsuit. Seat 5 calls with jacks, Queen 6 of suited hearts.
2 players.
And we are heads up.
And
here.
wow, and seat 6, CJ actually folded ace jack.
Ace Jack offsuit, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. What do you mean, actually? That's a hand that you usually fold to an early position raiser.
Right, well, I don't usually see that in a 6-12 game. I was
Yeah.
surprised to see it.
Yeah. Turns a 10. Check, check here. And the river is a 9. And it looks like ace high is good here.
Yep.
And he's going to bet it here, Dave.
And he checked the turn,
Yeah.
bet the river.
So seat 6 laid down ace jack offsuit to an early position raiser. Well, you said that she plays 30 hold'em, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I played 20 with her and 30 with her.
Yep. So,
And like I said, I'm really excited the fact that we're all over the place on 2+2 now.
yeah.
Hopefully allowing more viewers to become aware of our show.
Right. So you can check us out over in Small Stakes Limit Hold'em Forum. Go to 2plus2.com, click on Forums, Small Stakes Limit Hold'em. And there we are. Now we got a raise here by seat 8. He looks like he's got a Queen Jack offsuit. Seat 9's going to call with pocket deuces. Again, these chips are $2 chips. Green chips are $2 chips. Blue chips are $1 chips.
Some big hands out there. Ace King for seat 2, Michael.
Yep.
And he just chose on the button, just a smooth call.
5 players.
And we're going to see 5 players.
Wow.
And Dennis open limped with ace 10 offsuit in mid position as well.
And look at that. The king comes out, but Bio has hit a set of 6s.
Wow. This is the type of thing, Dave, I know you and I have talked about it, what we call overhead in limit hold'em. When you have something like ace king and somebody else hits a set and you have top pair, it's really difficult to lay it down to a check raise on the turn. I mean, if a deuce here comes on the turn, the guy with 6s check raises you. Well, 5, this is a possible straight card. Somebody could have 2 pair, but let's see how this plays out. Bio has checked it, and we'll imagine that seat 4 is probably going to check raise here the way that he played it.
Felt like.
Now, I actually might have played this a little bit different. He is going to check raise.
The funny thing, though, is by check raising, he actually gets seat 9 out.
Exactly. I might have led out on the turn here.
Try to keep the guy in.
Yeah. And the river here is a 9, and it's a 1 card to a straight, and he's going to bet again.
And I assume Michael's going to pay him off, and he
8 to
does.
6s. Yeah, that's what I figured.
What I was going to say is, some people will lay down ace king to a check raise on the turn if it's a very solid player that's doing it. But if the flop comes out king 7 deuce, something like that, rainbow, and you've got ace king and you raise pre-flop, the turn is either like 3, where it doesn't really complete any draw, and you get check raised on the turn.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get. In no limit, obviously, you've got to be able to get away from that
Right.
because it can be your whole stack.
Right.
In a limit game, what amounts to really is like one extra bet.
Right.
It is tough to lay those down.
It's overhead and
Once in a while, if you're playing with a guy who you know is never going to be tricky,
right.
you
You can
like,
lay
I'll give you
down
an example.
one pair on the turn.
If Sean would have check raised me and I had ace king and that flop, I'd lay it down.
Right. Sean's a very tight prop that plays in the mid levels here.
Or Larry.
Yeah.
We talk about Larry. Like a guy like that, if he check raises me on a turn,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But if you check raise me, I know you might be making a play on me, so I've got to pay you. I'm going to pay you off.
We've got 5-way action, and the pot was limped around. So that means $30 in there. 8-9-3 rainbow. And Dennis has got top pair here, but Bao leads out there with second pair. Now everyone just calls, so Dennis did not raise here with top pair. The turn's a deuce. And look at this, Greg has picked up 2 pair here on the turn. Bao's going to continue to lead in. Now, Greg has just called here, Dave. Bottom 2 pair, pretty vulnerable with this type of flop. I think I definitely would have popped it up there with so many people behind me.
Well, you've got there's 8-9 out there. Somebody has Jack 10 or
Yeah.
10-7 or even 7-6. They've got an open-ended straight draw.
Yeah.
All right, 3 players.
And Ben is going to overcall here with ace-8. And the river comes 8, and there it is. And 2 players have made trips. Bao's going to lead in, which he's been doing all.
Now, surprisingly, Dennis actually got out of the hand right away.
And Ben is going to raise. Well, Dennis actually folded on the turn with his top pair. Let's see what Bao does. He's just going to call. And ace-8 there with the kicker is going to take down a pot, Dave, that's about $150, which is a lot for a 6-12 game.
Well, this game can get pretty wild. I mean, you can easily. I actually remember one of my best sessions ever in 6-12 was I won about 5 stacks.
Yeah.
And because I'm not that crazy a player, I rarely will
Lines, please.
be the big winner or the big loser in a night.
Right.
I'm much more middle ground, but this game, I mean, sometimes it can be crazy.
And we're getting word here that seat number 3, Jeff Klein,
Yeah.
is a poster on 2+2, goes by Surfin' Illini.
Oh, really?
And I think he's got the Illinois hat there.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember him.
Yeah.
Great. Well, there he goes.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. We can see.
Well, he looks to be doing pretty well. I mean, each one of his stacks is probably, I want to say, 40 chips,
Right.
which obviously is about $80. Looks like he has at least 5 of them, which looks like he's probably got close to $400 or more in this game.
Now we have a raise here by seat 8, and it looks like pocket 8s and seat 2 is going to smooth ball. Debatable. Some people would 3-bet in that position. Other people might just call, Dave. He just calls king 9-5 here with a couple of clubs. Dennis has got a flush draw.
Now, Michael still has the best hand here with 8s, though, right?
Yep. And Dennis raised it up with 7-10 of clubs, and he's just going to continue to bet. He's picked up the club draw. And look at seat 4. He's going to raise with absolutely nothing, with ace deuce offsuit. And everybody calls. I don't really know what the purpose of that raise is, Dave. We'll see.
Well, there
Wow,
you go.
look at that. Turn is an ace.
Well, if you know what's coming out on the turn, it's real easy.
And look at Joseph in there with pocket 7s. 2 clubs out there
Well, he had the best hand. I mean, well, actually, he
and
didn't
2
have-
overcards.
Yeah.
So a bet and a call here. The flush draw's still in there. And the river's an ace. Wow.
And you know
Bao's
the
gonna bet again.
funny thing about that? The 2 aces that he could actually get come out.
Right,
Ace
not
of
the
clubs is
club.
no good.
Exactly, not the club.
Thank you.
Again, you and I were talking about this. Someone brought up a question about reversed implied odds, I don't know, last show or a couple days ago.
We're still talking about this?
And again, we've mentioned it always on the show. We just haven't used that terminology. But even in limit, I mean, there aren't really that many implied, they're not huge implied odds in limit. But number one, I don't think you should ever go for a set, really, in that type of case with a couple overcards and multi-people and multi-way action in there. And if you were to hit your set and it was a club, it would be no good. And I don't remember if the guy had the 7 of clubs in his hand or not. But anyways, we're going to take a look here.
That's one of the
Chip
cases
out.
where the guy had ace deuce there also.
Right, right.
Same basic thing.
So Bao is in the lead here with over $500. Jeff with $490.
2 players.
And we'll keep track of everyone.
And obviously, this is a cash game, folks, so you can reach in your pocket whenever you want. You can get up whenever you want.
Right.
Not a tournament.
Thank you.
Cash games is really the bread and butter. I mean, the heart
Right.
of where poker's at.
Button has moved over here to seat number 6. Now, again, I always say, Dave, that you can beat this game, but boy, it's difficult because of the rake structure in any casino. I mean, you're
Yeah.
taking 4 plus 1 off the top.
Well, it's why most professionals, players, and obviously with the advent of the internet, it's a little different. But if you're going to play live poker,
3
Yeah.
bets.
most professionals aren't playing at this level.
Right. Now, we have a raise
Tough
here.
to really make a living at
Got
it.
a raise here by the Surf on Illini guy there in C3. King Jack suited, and seat number 4 is going to 3-bet with Ace Queen off. Pretty straightforward here so
3
far.
players.
And look at that. But I want to say 8-6
Yeah.
offsuit is in there.
Cold call 3 bets. That's not really straightforward there. Well, Queen 3 deuce. Pretty good flop there for Bao.
Yeah.
Jeff is going to check, and Bao is going to bet. Now, Ace Queen. Jeff is going to smooth call one
He's going
time
to take one
here.
off and see what happens.
Well, the turn's a 9. He's picked up a gut shot. Bao is going to bet here, and he's going to take it down. You know, I see it so often on the internet, especially if
Thank you.
our friend there, Jeff in C3, had picked up a spade, or even in that case, when he picked up a gut shot, people will check raise you there because they think that you have ace king. I see a lot of, like, ridiculous moves when I play.
Well,
I
it might
play a
not
lot
be
of
necessarily
5-10
ridiculous.
limit on hold.
Right.
Yeah.
But if the guy doesn't have anything,
Right.
it's a great play.
Right. But I see a lot of check raising that's done on the internet
Right.
on the turn, much more so than in live gameplay.
Once in a while, if let's say I smooth call the turn, the flop, because I don't think my opponent has anything, and then I pick up a draw,
Right.
I might bet right into it.
Right.
And then they kind of are put off like, wait a second, I was bluffing. What are
Right.
you doing now?
Right. The only problem is if you're up against a really aggressive player, he could still raise you with
And then-
something like ace king, and then if you don't hit your draw, you're just going to check fold on the river, and it's
players.
you know,
That happens sometimes. That's
Yeah.
why you really don't want to play out of position.
right. We have 5-way action here. It was limped around Jack 3-6 with a couple diamonds.
Seat 9, Jose's got an open-ended straight draw.
He's going to call. Again, there are a couple of diamonds out there, but no one has the diamonds.
This is one of those times, though, where he doesn't have clean outs. The 7 of diamonds is not a clean out. The deuce
Right.
of diamonds is not a clean out, and he doesn't know it, though.
Turn is at 10. Joseph led in there with 6-9, and his hand is still good. And the river's at 10. And it looks like this one would be chopped up here between
Joseph and Bio.
and if Bio calls.
Yeah, because obviously your best 5 cards play, so they both have a pair of 10s.
Look at Ben, though, call in the middle with ace-3.
All right, let's see it.
And now seat 4 is not going to call.
And Joseph will take it down.
I got to tell you, I mean, we've done these little limit games now. I mean, we've been doing limit games off and on for ever since we started the show back in February. But obviously you're going to have some of your donkish type plays. But I've seen some players here that I would give them more respect than in a 30 game.
Oh, definitely.
Well,
just because, we've been maintaining a long time. Just because somebody plays smaller limits does not
Right.
mean they're a worse player, and just because people play higher limits doesn't mean they're a better player.
Right,
I haven't seen any real correlation with that.
right.
I mean, yes, I think you'll see more professionals playing 20, 40, 30, 60, 80, 160 than playing 612. But in terms of recreational players, I mean, let's be honest, Jerry Buss plays 400, 800 limit.
Right.
And his play speaks for itself.
Raise.
Now we have a raise here on the big blind. Excuse me, yeah, from the small blind. Or, on the big blind from C1. He's got pocket 9s. That's one way to play it, Dave. Get some more money in their pot if you hit your set.
Well, there is EV on that. I mean,
Yeah.
EV,
Ace, Jack,
expected
6.
value.
He has he had the best hand pre-flop, and it looks like he still has the best hand. And he's going to bet.
Well, if he's going to raise out of the blind, he's better bet it.
Now look at Greg call with King 5 of diamonds. Interesting. I don't know really what Greg is looking to hit. Now, the problem here is it seems like Greg's played it passively. If it gets checked to him, he's not going to bet. See if I'm wrong about that. See? Check, check here. And the river's a 7. Now, if Greg had bet there, that's a very difficult call for Ben to make. And then it just gets checked down.
And you can't blame Ben for shutting down because
Right,
Ben's looking at it going, ace, jack, 6, rainbow.
Right,
Okay, there's no straight draw out there. There's no flush draw out there.
right.
What did the guy call me with? So you say, okay, maybe he called me with a jack. I can't beat a jack. You know, I mean,
I mean, there's also a case to be made with those pocket pairs. I don't necessarily like to raise with small pocket pairs out of the big blind here because you're obviously out of position. But if you have a pocket pair and there are several limpers in there, say 4 or 5 limpers, you could even raise it up to pocket deuces on the button
Raise.
to try to hit a set. You get the pot, make it bigger. People will chase more draws, and if you don't hit your set, you can almost get four cards for the price of a flop. Because everyone's almost going to inherently check to you on the flop because you're the pre-flop raiser.
well, the problem is, but if you're on the, oh, you mean if you're on the button?
If you're on the button, yeah.
Oh, if you're on the button, yeah. It's
Yeah.
6 or 7 people in there. Why
yeah,
not?
yeah,
4 players.
You're raising for value there.
right. 4-way action here. We had a raise by ace-9 offsuit and seat 4. He's hit top pair.
This is another one of those cases where there's really no draw out there.
He bets.
This should be, I mean,
Now look at
pretty-
Ben. He's coming in with a cold call with 10-3 of diamonds on the button.
Yeah, and Jose's got the gut shot.
And actually, you know what? It's not 10. Excuse me. Seat 9 is Jose. He's got the king 10, and Ben has folded. Turn is an 8.
Well, now he's got a double gutter. Jose's got. If he needs a 9 or a queen.
You wonder if he's going to notice it here. And he is going to call. And the river's a 5. And Bao's going to bet again here. I got to tell you, I might check that at the end, Dave. I mean, unless I think that the guy is the type of player that might just be calling me with something like King Jack or Queen Jack. Again, it's limit, but it's almost like if you bet there against a straightforward and you get raised on the river, can Ace-9 really take the heat of a raise on the river there on that type of board?
Well, the only thing you can do this, I don't mind betting it. You know, to be honest with you, I don't mind betting it if you know the player you're playing against, because if they raise, you can usually safely throw away your Ace-9.
Right. Whereas if they're calling you with a King Jack or Queen Jack, they're just going to call you. If you check to them, they're just going to check behind you.
Right. Well, you look at the advantage. You know, if you check it down and he bets with the
Right.
better hand, you're going to call him for sure, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, obviously you can induce a bluff. If you think that player might bluff, you might want to induce a bluff. Obviously, there's a different way to play it.
Now we're going to see CJ here come in for a raise, the first hand that she's played. Looks like she's got Ace-Queen offsuit in her early position. And she's going to get called here in a lot of spots. 5 spots. So we
Jose's
got
got Queen Jack of diamonds.
a $60 pot here.
He's in bad shape, but I like the hand. Not
King
anymore.
5-7.
Everybody's missed. Greg's in the lead in the second pair, huh?
Nobody bet on it. Well, the turn's at 10, and now Queen Jack of Diamonds got an open-ended royal flush draw. CJ's got the gut shot, and no one's going to bet this.
Now Greg's also got 9-7 of diamonds.
Well,
so-
now Ben bets with the 10. Greg's going to call, so Greg's got a flush draw and diamonds. And Jose's got a big hand as well. Dennis is going to call with 5-3 of hearts, Dave. Wow. That's unbelievable.
And he's the only one really in bad shape.
And the river here is a king, and it
Well-
looks like Ben's hand is good, right?
Yeah, Ben's hand held up here.
Yeah. And he's going to bet again. Figuring no one bet out on the king, so maybe, he can get a call here.
I like the bet.
And if Dennis called the turn, is he going to call the river here? I guess he folded with 5-3. Huh. And,
Jose just laughs as he sees his draw. I'm not sure if do you think Jose wants to be called Tolan, or is it Jose?
I don't know.
We'll have to get a double check on that one.
Now, Queen Jack of Diamonds in a tough game, Dave. I'm not calling early position raises with that type of hand. I don't really have a big problem with that. He was, I think, in the cutoff. There already were 3 or 4 people in for a double size
Right.
raise, so I might call there with the Jack 10 suited or a Queen Jack suited or any high connecting cards
Right.
that are suited because of the value of it.
You just got to look at what you're hoping to get. I mean,
Right.
if you hit just a queen or a jack, you might be in trouble. You
Right.
got to know that. You're obviously looking for.
And you can be easily dominated, and he was dominated. So, hitting a lone bear queen is not necessarily the best thing with that hand, and you've got to know that, like you
Right.
said.
I'd almost rather hit a jack, to be honest.
Yeah. Now we have a raise here by by seat number 5. He's got ace king offsuit. And we've got a few callers here. King, queen, and 8-10. Queen 9-4 here with a couple of diamonds.
Wow.
Greg's
Dennis has outflopped him.
And he just calls here.
Setting up a play, maybe? Raise on the river
Well,
on the return?
Bao's going to call here. I don't know what kind of draw he has over in seat 4.
Well, he's got a...
Well, he picks up a pair.
Well, he had a gut shot straight draw.
And now he's going to bet it. You're right, he has a gut shot to the jack. Dennis just calls again. And the river's a 4, and king, queen is good. Yeah, and this is really a time to value bet here. It's a good bet here on the river.
Oh, definitely.
Uh,
And Bios kind of put himself in a tough spot, going, well, this guy missed diamonds?
Well, even if he had 8-9, he couldn't beat Dennis's hand either.
Right.
You know, he did lead out on the turn there.
Thank you.
The other thing about King Queen in Limit Hold'em is not as dangerous as it is in No Limit. We always talk about King Queen and No Limit, how dangerous a hand it is. Although I don't really like to call raises with King Queen offsuit in Limit Hold'em. It's almost a hand that I like to... King Queen offsuit, it's almost a hand I like to either 3-bet or fold.
Yeah.
Similar to Ace Jack offsuit.
I happen to agree with you.
Yeah.
I I'm not. I don't like the hand, obviously. And No Limit, obviously, it's a little more scary because every single time you're playing a pot, it could be for all your chips.
Right.
While in Limit Hold'em, obviously, there's a limit.
Right.
Raise.
We got a raise here by seat 8. He's got King Queen offsuit. Now, I have no problem opening with this hand in mid position like you did in seat 8, King Queen offsuit. But aces in seat 1 is going to 3-bet him.
I would assume so.
Yeah, he did. Like I said, I have no problem opening with King Queen, but I don't like calling raises.
Now, and Greg is actually called with King 8 of clubs.
Well, he was in the blind, and you know how everyone loves to protect their blinds.
Right. Now, I don't mind calling one raise with King 8 of clubs, but do you really want to call a 3-bet with King 8 of
Yeah.
clubs? Now, Joseph's got the backdoor spade draw. He's got the King of Spades.
So we have a bet here by aces with the overpair. And he's going to call. And Greg is in there with King 8 of clubs, Dave, I guess.
Still, really? Wow.
Unbelievable.
Turns a 3 of hearts. That's no help.
Ben bets again.
And you can actually look at it now, and I believe Ben has got this hand won.
Yep.
The other players were actually drawing dead.
And everybody folded. You know, one of the other things, too, Dave, actually, I did it in a 30 game today, is sometimes people look down at like an ace-queen or an ace-jack, and they think it's a really, really good limit hand. You know, if I've got an early... I was in the big blind, and I mucked ace-queen offsuit to 3-bets in the big blind today. If you've got an early position raiser that you respect and somebody 3-bets you, what are you trying to hit with ace-queen?
No,
You know,
without it.
You know?
It's an easy laydown against
Yeah.
certain players.
Yeah.
You've got, obviously, the more you know your opponents, the more
Right.
the more information you have,
Yeah.
the better you can play. But if a good player raises and another player 3-bets it,
Yeah.
you know, ace-queen, you could almost be drawing dead.
Right.
I mean, to like King Jack 10.
5 players.
5-way action. And it was Linter on ace, king, 7 here with a couple of hearts. And Joseph is going to bet here with bottom pair. It looks like he's going to take it down. We can tell already that CJ seems pretty solid over there in seat 6. You know, you're not going to take off in an unraised pot with just a gut shot. Usually you don't have odds to do that.
Right.
We got an interesting post here.
Yeah?
Looks like a first-timer here on this thread. Sweet Jazz. He's talking about the hand that the big blind had red 9s, 4 limpers, and he raises. Flop comes ace-jack and a black blank. If you're the big blind, do you bet out or do you check and fold? Now, you said you actually liked the bet. I think it's debatable because in this game, if you're at the type of table where anybody's playing any ace, might you just give up there if there are 2 overs? Now, he was luckily where he actually bet, got everybody out, and then he was up against such a passive player that they just checked it down and he won the hand.
See, to me, if you're going to raise, if you choose to raise out of a big blind,
Yeah.
you're pretty much, to me, you're almost going to bet any flop. And when I say bet any flop, I mean an ace comes out, a scary flop comes out. Even if you hit your set, you're going to bet it.
Jack, Jack 5 here. Pot was limped around. And look at Jeff there in seat 3 bet. You know, when he watches the show day when there's when the paired board there. A lot of people miss the flop, and he takes it down. He actually got somebody to lay down a 5. Someone had queen 5.
There you go, good bet. I mean, to me, if you're going to raise out of the big blind with something like 9-9 or 8-8 or something that's kind of, kind of marginal, which I have no problem with, you have to bet the flop because you have to see where you're at.
Right.
You're just going to check and fold. You're giving the pot away. Why are you even betting it?
Right.
Are you only raising it just to hit your set? Or if like a really, really ugly flop comes out, it comes out like deuce, deuce, 6.
Right.
But in a game like this, somebody could have a deuce. It's just as likely almost.
Right.
Now, since nobody raised, hey, why not? Why don't you represent the hand that everybody else is scared of? You can represent ace king,
Right.
ace
Yeah.
queen.
We got a raise here by seat number 1 with ace queen offsuit. We got a call here with jack 5 of diamonds.
Yeah, that's Bio in seat 4.
Yep.
Well, he's outflopped him,
9-5-9.
and Bio's going to raise it up. It's a nice raise there by Bio.
Ben's going to call. Oh, there's a queen Dave on the turn.
Now, this is a spot. This is kind of like, I believe it was a bet and just a call.
Yeah. River's an 8 here. They're just going to get checked down
Yeah.
there. Ace queen is going to be good. Well, obviously, Dave, we have Mondays and Tuesdays for this show that are kind of open and always up in the air. And it seems like, as I read through the threads and we receive emails, people would love to know ahead of time about the limit game.
Right.
Like, if we can get an actual limit game on, like, Monday nights every week.
Well, it
A
looks
lot
like
of people,
we're trying to.
Yeah, will want to come down. So we're going to really, really try that. And I only emailed Kev Math around 5:30 today to tell him what the game was. But there was a guy that I was playing 20-40 Hold'em with on Friday night there when I was Double Fist Friday. Private Joker. He's a poster on 2+2. He's playing the 20 game with me.
Okay, cool. Great.
And I had taken maybe 6 shots per Patron and had already had about 3 Miller Lights at that time. I was hitting on a nice Asian girl that was at the table in seat 9.
How'd that work for
Fee.
you?
You familiar?
Fee.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I
Joe
love Fee.
Wynn's little...
I love Fee.
Friend.
She's so sweet.
Yeah.
You were hitting on her?
Yeah, of course.
I can't believe that. You pig, you.
Ace 6-3 here with
I know,
a
I
couple
thought you were
of diamonds.
dating some hooter girl.
I am, but I'm allowed to live.
Dennis flops a diamond flush here and takes it down.
I'm not an old man yet.
I'll tell you one play I don't like, though. If we want to get back to that raising with pocket 9s and the big blinds, or raising with any hand in the big blind, the one play I don't like is checking and hoping somebody in late position bets, and then
Yeah.
you check raise.
Yeah,
Because you can't count on somebody betting.
Right.
Because you're the one that was the aggressor.
right.
Obviously, I mean, if you're playing with the same group of guys for a while, or group of girls for a while, and you get a feel for how somebody's going to play, and you think they're really going to bet it, okay, well, you can use that. But
3 players.
Yeah,
I don't know. If I'm the pre-flop aggressor, I'm usually going to continue betting.
yeah.
And if somebody wants to check raise me, so be it.
Donna, can we have a setup?
Turn is an ace here. Ace 5-10.
Is Queen High still the best hand?
Looks like it is. He's going to bet.
I don't think anybody can call.
And the other thing, Dave, too, is that if we actually get people that contact us that want to play on this game, and we have enough people that want to play on the game, we can get the game at, higher than 8-16. Then we could get a 20-40 game. Because
Oh.
we've got enough people here that would play the 20, and then we could just fill it in with more people
Well,
that
like
are just
right now,
coming
we
in
have
for
a
the
couple
show.
of 20 games and a couple of 30 games going.
Right.
But a lot of those players are hesitant to play.
Right, exactly.
Are you cold? Is that what it's cold? It's comfortable. It's not cold.
Hey, guys. Are you going far?
So again, you can email us at live@thebike.com.
And so far, from what I've seen, this game is pretty indicative of play at the small to mid limits. I mean, 6-12 limit. I guess the 6-12 is considered a small limit game. Lower limit. It's not
it's
like.
not. It's not. I mean, mid limit is supposedly like 10-20 all the way up through like 80-160 sometimes.
Well, yeah, Barry Greenstein's view of it.
Yeah.
He considers like 150, 300 mid limit.
Right.
For the guys like that, yeah. But
I always think it's like 10-20 up through I got to be honest. I mean, I guess like you said, it depends on your definition of high limit.
Right.
Probably 10,
it's all
20,
semantics in the
30,
end of it all.
60, right? I'm going to tell you 40, 80 sometimes plays high limit to me. You know?
Hey, to be honest with you, if you're used to playing 6-12,
Right,
and you
right.
jump into a 10-20 game, that's high limit for you.
Right.
You know?
And this is more of a kickback night for us. Again, anybody who's watching the show for the first time tonight that might have found us in this new forum, we normally would do big no-limit hold'em games. Big no-limit
Right.
hold'em
Well, our
games.
normal schedule, I mean, what
Yeah.
we're trying to do, and obviously we're not going to, don't hold us to it, but we're trying to do, obviously, is a Monday is kind of a limit game.
Right.
Wednesday is kind of our big no-limit whale night game.
Right.
Thursday is kind of a 5-10 no-limit game.
Right.
And then Friday is usually our big 10-20 no-limit game.
Right.
Where we have thousands and thousands of dollars.
And Wednesday's game is actually the biggest, but it's actually a restricted buy-in game.
Right.
It's a 50-100 game with a $5,000 cap. Three-way action here. It was limped around. Looks
Yeah,
like
Mike-
Michael's got top pair.
Yeah.
He's going to bet right out.
Nobody else has got much of anything here, so pretty much it.
And we have some ideas in the works here for next week on either a Monday or a Tuesday with regards to heads-up play. And I know people have asked about that, too. Might try
actually,
that out.
please email us. Let us know what you think. We're possibly going to do like a heads-up tournament type thing.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think and if you'd like to see that. Kind of like, imagine the NCAA tournament, but let's say 32 players, and we narrow down the field to one person.
Right.
Raise.
Got a raise here. Seat number 9. He's got ace-jack offsuit. Now let's see what seat 2 is actually going to cold call with ace-jack offsuit here on the button. And we're going to see five-way action here. And it looks like the Jeff Klein is going to call with a suited connector
Yeah, he was
there
in
in
the small blind, and with that many players, he figured, what the heck. And now he's picked up a flush draw. He's behind,
Now
obviously.
he checked blind here. And Jose's going to bet with ace-jack. Let's see if Michael raises here in seat 2. Oh, Ben's going to call with king 7 of clubs. C2 calls. Jeff is in there. This is the type of thing, Dave, if I'm in the small blind and I hit my heart, I actually want to bet right out here. Well, it's a queen here on the turn.
Now, might that even get Jeff to throw his hand away?
It gets checked around, and Michael's going to bet.
He just doesn't know if one of these players has a queen. And if one of these players has a queen,
Yeah.
it reduces his out significantly.
He's going to fold. Jose makes the check call with ace-jack. And this spot's going to be chopped up
Yeah.
if it goes to showdown. The river's the king. And this might go check here.
Check.
Yeah.
Shot.
I think he has fucking king.
Ace-jack is good. Ace-jack and
they
ace-jack.
chop it up.
Yep.
Once again, we are live at the Bike Folks. I'm David
Yeah.
Tuckman here with Bart Hanson. We're playing Limit Hold'em tonight. Blind, the limits are 6 and 12. Small
Yeah.
blind is 1 chip, which is $2. Big blind is 3 chips, which is $6.
Yep.
You what? You what?
Yeah.
King what? King 10? Or 10 jack?
I actually thought you
a
had
hard
pocket kings, and then when the king came on her, I'm like, oh, that's what I thought he had.
Button's going to move over here to C3.
What, the hearts?
Thank you.
Getting an interesting
Oh, yeah,
post from Shant.
I don't know. Boards pair.
Yes, we do read the thread. We actually really love it. We
You never know.
Tell you
kind of
what,
interactive for us.
I'm not greedy.
You're just playing the call.
Well, we also
And,
getting word from that
course,
particular
you gotta call
poster
it.
too. He says, "What's the chances if I can come down right now and get on the show?"
28?
Well, it's 6:35. Of course, that's 6. You'll hear this when it's 6:40.
Right.
But if you leave now,
There you go. 2 people on the board.
we can probably get you in the game by 7:30. I would think.
Yeah.
So, because we have players that we're gonna get up for the tournament that starts at 7:15. So check it out. And yes, you can maybe bet on a black versus red flop, Dave, a la party poker.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
They have party poker. They have.
Yeah, side bets
Competition
on,
bets?
on. Now they do. Started about a month ago.
Oh my God,
And they have blackjack now too.
that's hysterical.
Ben's gonna
Do they take a vig on the side bets?
Six on the board, you're in the
Kidding
pot, I don't care.
look at this. Ben bet here with Queen 10, and
have
Bao's
King
gonna
10.
check raise with weak top pair here, Dave. Turn is a jack, and he's gonna lead.
Well, Ben's got an open-ended straight draw now.
And the river's a 10. He's hit trips.
Yeah. Well, that was
And
one
this
of
is
many outs he had.
Could this be the type of time that you might shut down here with King 8? Well, he's gonna bet. And again, if he gets raised here, Dave, he should safely be able to throw away his hand, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing you can
Fourth
beat
pair,
there.
never
Yeah.
fucking river.
I
That's
hate
what happened.
setups.
And no flushes make it.
Okay.
And did Bao re-raise there in seat 4, or you just called? I think you just called.
He just called.
Okay.
That's one of those times you're looking at it going, well, what can I beat with King 8?
Yeah.
I mean, in some tough players will make that raise trying to represent something,
Right.
and when they've actually missed their clubs draw or something like that, or missed a draw, but it's rare to see that in this game.
That's why I came here to play in the tournament.
But again, I mean, in this structured game, I like actually the 3-6 structured game with one chip in the small blind. Just because I think it's more advantageous for tighter players.
Right.
Because if you're in a 2-chip small blind game, and there are a couple of limpers in, you pretty much should complete with any 2 cards.
Yes,
You know?
I want to disagree with you there for a second. I don't like to I don't like to complete even just for one chip if there's a hand that I don't want to play out of position.
Yeah, but I mean, if you've got 3 or 4 limpers in front of you, you're getting about 15 to 1 on your money.
Right. The
to
problem is though
compete
is
with one chip.
the problem is though is you've got to be really disciplined to know how to get away from the hand though. 'Cause I mean,
Well,
I'll give you an
obviously.
example. Let's say you've got something like Jack 3,
Yeah.
right? What are you looking to hit? A Jack?
Yeah,
You know, if you hit a Jack, it might cost you more.
yeah.
Okay, obviously if you flop 2 pair, yes, but I don't think the odds of hitting 2 pair are the odds actually appropriate for hitting 2 pair or better.
I know what you're trying to get at here, but
I mean, sometimes it ends up costing you more than it should.
yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Ben actually took it down there with a pair of 3s, the 4 kicker. I'm just saying that
Well, what are the odds? Let me ask you this: what are the odds with 2 random cards like Jack 4,
flopping 2 pair.
flopping 2 pair? Or
I don't
better?
know off the top of my head.
Maybe
I
somebody
don't
with
know
2
if
plus 2 can help us
I don't
out
know
with
if it's
that.
more or less than 15 to 1. Yeah.
Actually, if you hear that question, what are the odds if you have a random hand like Jack 4 of flopping 2 pair or better?
Okay, I guess I'll just stay here because that's too long for me.
Please email us at live@thebike.com. Let us know.
Yeah.
Time you get home, it's going to be about.
I guess that in the end, that's the answer to your question.
Yeah.
Because you want 2 pair or better, right? You don't want a Jack.
Well, it all depends how you feel. If you're running.
Because a Jack, how do you play it? You're gonna bet it out, and then if somebody calls you, then you shut down. Then
Right.
you know,
Game, it's Sunday.
this game's somewhat passive, so you don't mind doing that.
Right.
25,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
$10,000 game.
And I don't live in this area. I live pretty far.
And again, for all you people that are new to this show, this is the smallest limit level game we've ever done on the show.
Yes.
6-12. Actually, I think we've done a 40 no limits as kind of a theme night before, but normally this show concentrates on high level no limit hold'em cash games. But we're trying to incorporate a limit night into this. And we're starting off kind of smaller because we would like to build it up so that we can get the 20, 40, and 30, 60, which we used to have back in the show way back in March.
Right.
So we got 6-way action here, limped around. King 6-5 with a couple of hearts. So Michael there in seat 2 has ace queen of hearts. He's got the nut flush draw.
I think the best hand right now is actually Jose, though, right, with 3-6.
Well, Ben bet here and Michael called, and I like the call there by Michael. You see a lot of times people will raise with their draws next to act, and you don't want to drive people out with that type of flop, right, with ace queen of hearts?
Well,
Why raise?
the only reason you'd want to raise is if theoretically you don't put the guy in a king.
Turn here is an 8.
Now, Ben's picked up an opening and straight draw, but Dennis has got the best hand. See if he range, get Dennis out of there.
Well, everyone checks, and the queen comes on the river, and now it looks like ace queen is the best hand. And he's going to bet here at the end. It looks like he is in position, so I can
yeah.
check to him.
That's not a scary card, obviously.
You got a hard draw?
And he's going to take it down.
You didn't want the
Take
hard
it down. I mean, I understand what you're saying. Obviously, you don't want to raise people out when you're on just a draw.
Right.
But let me just throw something at you. What happens if you're getting somebody out with a weak ace?
Oh, yeah.
Like on that flop, what was it? It was
everybody check
king
everyone.
6-5.
Well, I think that I think you can make the case in that particular situation that his hand is so big anyways that he actually might want to get small lingering pairs out. But if you had a pure draw with low cards,
Without a doubt. If I
Yeah.
in that case, the flop is what, king 6-5.
Right.
If I've got like 9 deuce of hearts.
Right.
No, I don't want to raise anybody out because
Right.
I need some help.
Right.
But I don't want somebody. What I want to try to get the hand out is ace 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if I hit my ace, I want to make sure it's good.
Brian
Who knows? If I raise, I might even get a weak king out. I don't know in this game I would have not, but in our game I wouldn't. Don't you think you get a weak king maybe?
Possibly,
raise?
yeah.
I was asking what his nickname is.
Going to raise here by seat 4. He's going to raise it up with pocket 7s.
Yeah.
Seat 5 is going to call King Jack offsuit. Seat 7's in there with King Queen offsuit.
We've seen it too often though, where people will raise just on a pure draw.
Yeah, and then knock everybody out behind them.
Right.
Doesn't make any- yeah.
He got really
And those are the people you need in there to actually have the odds to go for your draw.
6-way action here. The double-sized bet. Now, Bao was the raiser with pocket 7s.
He's a good guy.
Nice flop for 7s.
Well,
huh?
Joseph's going to come out and bet here with pocket 6s. I don't mind that bet, Dave. He
No.
doesn't have the best hand. Now, Jose, look at this. Here's this case. He's next to act with a hand that's really not that good, and he raises with the
right.
spade draw.
Right.
Just like what we talked about what you probably shouldn't do, right? With Jack 3 or spades
Yeah, now that's
here.
obviously a pure drawing hand. He
Yeah.
doesn't have 2 overcards. He only has
Right.
1 overcard.
Right.
He's pretty sure that he's probably behind right now.
Right.
Jack high is not going to be the best hand.
Right. But Bao calls with pocket 7s. He has the best hand. And the turn is a spade. Well, there it is. And Jose's going to bet with the flush. And it looks like...
Bao's going to call.
Well, he's called the whole time. And
Well, he's
what-
got 7 of spades in his hand. Maybe he thinks that's an out.
Let's see the river. Well, the river's a jack.
Oh.
You'd imagine that Jose's going to bet again here.
He
What
checked.
is it? He buys
No,
it
I don't. Not yet. I don't think he's
Oh,
done
okay.
anything yet.
It's $15, I think.
Okay. I was going to say.
Yeah.
Per month.
In limit, those are the types of value bets that you need to make.
Oh,
too.
you have to.
And now Bao
month,
folds, so
right?
maybe he just thought that he was trying to hit that spade at the end.
Is there anyone like
I actually had this conversation with Patty.
just a,
Patty is a
just
prop
day
that
we
plays
were playing so we can observe
predominantly
our own
20,
play,
40,
Yeah.
and 30, 60 here.
like
Very
right on
loose,
to
aggressive,
CZ
very
and
laggy
myself?
player.
Oh, that's all right. Okay.
And she was playing in this game,
That's fine.
and she wasn't having a great night, and she has ace-king, and the flop's like, king blank blank.
Right.
The turn was a 10, the river was like a jack, right? And then when it was heads up, and when the other player checked to her, she checked behind
And
it.
turned over ace king.
And I was
Yeah.
just shocked. And I even said to her, I was sitting there, and we were having a good time. We were just talking the whole night. And I go, why don't we bet that? She
Yeah.
goes, I don't want the guy check raising me.
I was watching it.
Well, how often do you get check raised on the river in the limit hold'em?
Yeah.
I go, it's not a fear that's really, people are scared of something that just doesn't happen enough to be scared of.
Yeah.
I was actually reading this great book, Freakonomics, and they talk about people being scared of things that are just, the risk doesn't justify the fear.
Right. And we get a raise here out of the blind with ace 9 offsuit. And he has the best hand. And a couple people are going to call.
He literally came up and pulled my arm like this.
Well, he hits a pair 10, 4, 9. So he's going to bet.
No, he's like
And Joseph's going to call here with a couple of overs and a gut shot to the jack. And seat 8 is in the hand.
I actually thought about
Excuse me, Joseph is in seat 8. He called. And Dennis called with 3-4 because he's got middle pair.
Yeah, now Joseph, 9-10, sometimes I like to take one up with king queen because any paint you figure you're good.
Now anyone with an 8 would have a straight, but Ben's going to bet here again after it got checked around.
Keep
And he's
betting,
not
keep
going to.
betting.
Yeah, he's not going to get called.
By the way, if you like to read, I highly recommend this book, Freakonomics. Actually, our director of the show, Isaac, handed me his copy and I read it. It's fabulous. Really good. Freakonomics by Stephen D. Levitt and Stephen J. Dubner, or Dubner, however you want to call it. Prepare to be dazzled. Here at Live at the Bike, we like to be a little of everything. Not only do we give you a great poker show, and it's great education, and it's great entertainment, we like to talk about all sorts of stuff.
That's right.
I mean, actually, what is the game tonight? Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles, right?
Yep.
Interesting game.
Button here is in seat 9. And we got pocket aces here for seat 1 in the small blind. And he's going to raise. Normally raising out of the blinds with aces for value is the best way to go, and he has raised. So here we go. Get some more money in that pot. Deuce, 7 deuce. Well, that's a pretty good flop for aces. You just hope to God someone doesn't have a deuce, right, Dave? Because you can't get beat by 2 pair now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great flop.
Yeah,
I mean, even if somebody's got, king 7,
right.
the king's no good.
And Dennis calls here with 4-5 of hearts. Wow.
Well, he's got a backdoor heart draw and a backdoor straight draw.
Well, the turn's a heart. Does he raise here?
Well, he's now picked up a straight draw, too.
A very advanced player would raise here with a straight draw and a heart, represent the deuce with his big draw, but he
Try to
just
put
calls.
Ben on a, if Ben has ace-king, you can take him away from it.
Yeah, and the river's a jack, and he doesn't get there. But it's a third spade.
Now, if you're playing no limit here, you might be able to represent spades.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's kind of tough. In limit hold'em, representing doesn't do much.
The other thing, too, is, I mean, in a more solid game, I mean, the flop comes deuce, 7 deuce, and you pick up a draw on the turn. If you raise, you're not necessarily going to get somebody with aces to lay it down, because, what are the chances you have a deuce? But say the flop came jack, jack, something else, and then you pick up a heart, a flush draw, and a straight draw or some sort of straight draw. You could raise there and get possibly someone to lay down pocket tens and a player that's very tight to lay down an overpair, thinking that you had a high paint for trips that you flopped and were slow playing and raised on the turn.
You can also, you're raising with a draw rather than calling with a draw.
Right.
And if the other guy has ace-king,
Right.
he might call, then check and fold.
Right.
When you bet the river, regardless. They chop it up here.
Yeah,
I mean, people say all the time, people try to say, oh, you can't make any plays in limit hold'em. Hogwash.
No.
I mean, that's a bunch of crap. You can make plays all the
Malarkey.
time. Exactly. Just what I was thinking. No, but seriously, you can make plays all the time. You just have to make sure the player you're making a play against is paying attention.
Yeah.
Never make plays against bad players.
Right.
Don't make plays against inexperienced players. Don't make plays against players that aren't paying attention to what you're doing.
Right. Take a look at another chip count here. I believe that Bao there in seat 4, I think he's down about $150 now. And Ben is at 500. He's leading.
Bao's pretty action here, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Limp here by seat 8. Pocket 3s. It's another type of mistakes that I see, Dave, especially in low limit hold'em. If the table isn't incredibly loose passive, I'm not playing small pocket pairs in the first few positions. Anything below pocket 8, I really discard. And I used to when I first started playing. But, it's a lesson that you'll learn through more experience.
Yeah, when I first started playing, I actually kept track of all the hands I would play.
Yeah.
And I kind of did a record of how much money I'd make on this hand or lose on this hand and so forth. And I found that my pocket pairs, deuces through 8s, were losers. I lost money on them in the long run.
Now it looks like a queen 10. There we go. Sorry about that.
And Greg to the best hand there, a pair of 10s. Got an interesting question here from Ghostface, veteran on, are the commentators always this stupid? No, actually, sometimes we're even stupider. This is actually pretty good for us. There are days where we're way more stupid.
Well, this game, of course, is different than any other game. It's kind of more of a relaxed night for us. If you want to see us go kind of crazy, watch on Wednesdays and Friday nights.
Yeah.
When there's some big money at the table. Tens of thousands of dollar pots. We had pots last night. We had 3 or 4 pots last Wednesday, Dave, that were over $20,000 in cash in the 5,100 no limit game.
Insane.
Yep.
I actually played on Saturday night. If anybody watched Friday's show and the prior Friday show, people know the action player Carlos is.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to be able to play with him on Saturday in the no limit game. And sure enough, he was just throwing money around.
Now we had a raise here by seat 3 with ace-jack offsuit. And he's going to bet blind. Bao called with 9-7. Let's see what Bao does here. Oh, he's going to fold. And Jeff takes it down. And he shows it. Shows the ace-jack.
First two face cards, the two big cards are phenomenal.
First ace you got, sure.
First ace I got on. Yeah, they got up where I could fall.
Button here is in seat 5. Dave, I have to compliment my Patriots for a gutsy and scrappy win over the weekend against the Miami Dolphins.
Gutty and gritty.
That's right.
I have to compliment my
win.
Jets for getting their absolute asses beat. 30-3, and we are well on our way to the number 1 pick in the draft, folks.
That's what you really want, isn't it?
I do. I want Herman Edwards to be fired. Fire HermanEdwards.com. And I want the number 1 pick in the draft.
Now, seat 8's going to bring this one in for a race with Queen Jack suited. Pocket 10s in seat 1. Smooth calls here. And we got a call.
Yeah, I like the 3-bet with pocket 10s there.
Yeah. We got a call here with ace 4 in the blind. King 7-5. Let's see how Ben plays this one if Joseph bets here. He's going to just call, it looks like, with one overcard. So we're heads up. Queen Jack against pocket 10.
Well, the ace threw the hand away anyway.
Yeah. Turns a 3. Again, a more advanced play, might be if you're going to play 10s that way to raise the flop, Dave, and maybe you get a weak king out of there. Although the pot was raised pre-flop, so you're not necessarily think that someone might be playing a weak king in the blinds. It all depends on the game and how advanced the players are in the game, obviously.
Yeah, limit hold'em, just like no limit hold'em. Obviously, you want to read your opponents, get to
Right.
know who you're playing against.
I mean, I remember actually having this
accordingly.
discussion with you when I've been coming to the bike for about a year and a half. And I remember before I even worked here having a discussion with you about limit holding, about speculative hands in early position. And I remember having a discussion with you. I'm like, because you go with the theory, and now I totally agree with it. You're trying to find an excuse not to play a hand in early position and limit hold them. Now, no, I'm not necessarily saying this table, Queen Jack suited, is unplayable in early position, because this table, obviously, it's a low limit game. But in a tough mid-level game, I'm more often to throw that away now.
Well, right, and I still want to play it regardless of whether this is 30-60, 60-120 or 6-12. It's 3-6 game. It's still the same poker game.
Right. Pot is limped around here. Ace 5-6, couple spades.
Spades are off our bio in seat 4.
9-3 of spades, interesting holding. And it looked like seat 2 bet in there with King Jack.
If bio raises here, he probably takes it away. But once again, like you said, sometimes you don't want to raise.
Right, and there's the spade right there. And he's going to bet. Michael didn't really have anything.
No, he should go away. Yeah, I mean, generally when you're playing in a game, especially a game like this, you want to play, especially, I mean, you see how many times your position makes a deal. I mean, it turns out that, he had a flush, and it turns out the guy had pocket tens and had the best hand.
Right.
But both times the guy checked and folded on the turn because they missed.
Right.
So generally, I want to look for an excuse to play hands in position, and I want to look for an excuse to not play hands. Ace-Jack offsuit in first position in a tough game, that's garbage. I mean, I've seen people raise with, like, King 10 offsuit in first position.
Yeah.
And I love that guy in my game. I'll play with that guy all day, every day.
Right. We have a raise here by seat 2 of pocket jacks. We kind of had a response, Dave, to our question about the odds of flopping 2-pair, and I guess I probably worded the question wrong. It's 2% to flop exactly 2-pair, but actually you really want to know what the odds are of flopping 2-pair or better.
2-pair or better, right?
Exactly.
2-pair, trips, quads, all that added up.
Now, Michael raised here with pocket jacks, and he's going to bet into this flop. Dennis called with ace-10 suited. Now he's picked up the nut spade draw with the gut shot. Michael's going to continue to bet here with 2 overs, but he's
now,
open-ended.
Now, if this is the time where Dennis raised, he'd probably take it away.
Right. He's just going to call.
Jack's still good.
And the river's a 5.
Let's see how it goes on the river. This might go... Let's see how if Dennis bets.
Dennis is going to bet.
Is Michael going to pay him off?
Well, it looks like he is with 2 overcards.
Now, if Dennis had raised the turn,
yep,
I don't know if Michael calls.
Well, the other thing you got to look at...
The river, that is.
The other thing you got to look at, too, though, is that do players at this level have the gall to bet into me on the turn with pocket jacks? I mean, I actually might not raise there on the turn from the play that I've seen in this game, just thinking that there's no way the guy's going to fold.
Right,
Because is he going to bet into me with like pocket 8s or pocket 9s again on the turn?
Right. Or,
possibly.
But he might also do it with queen jack.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, generally speaking, if you play 6-12, or if you play a mid-limit game and you play it straightforward,
right,
and you play good hands in position and you avoid playing out of position,
right,
you're going to come out a winner. Although it is tough to beat the rake in this game.
Yeah.
At any casino, have that. And we do appreciate all the emails. Thank you, Sean O'Hara.
4-way action here. I believe the pot was limped around.
And queen 8-9, huh? Couple
Dennis
hearts.
did not raise with ace queen. And Ben is going to bet here as a total bluff.
Yeah.
Greg's going to call with second pair, and Dennis calls with ace queen.
Just call it ace queen now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 2 hearts out there, coordinated.
Turns a 6.
Straight draws and everything.
We got to think he's going to bet here if it gets checked to him. Yeah, he is going to bet. He's played it passively all night. Too.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the other things that's good to notice.
And that sometimes that frustrates a good player. If you were to play in this game,
What
sometimes
is
you would
Ben
go,
calling with? Oh, I guess he's got a gut shot to the 10.
yeah.
So he's betting out there on the gut shot to the 10. And the river here is 3.
Well, he's picked up a pair of threes. See if he pays them off.
Nice value bet here with ace queen at the end.
There's one time you don't want to make a set.
I mean, at this point, I almost put the guy on something like 9-10 or 9-jack, and he's going to
Wow.
pay him off with a 3. Wow.
Pays him off the whole way.
Yeah.
Yeah, at these levels, I think you've got to value bet every single time.
Right.
But sometimes it can be frustrating because you, like if we're playing in our game, right,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
and a guy doesn't raise pre-flop, and then doesn't raise the flop,
Small blind.
Yeah.
you find it really hard to be like, wow, this guy has ace queen. You know, you
Yeah.
almost be like, but sometimes these guys, the players are playing very passive, so it's hard. Sometimes it's really difficult to put a player on a game put a player on a hand when they're playing very passive.
But getting back to that issue with the 2-3 chip structure, I mean, I really think that it's proper to call any hand when you're getting such extreme odds, 14 or 15 to 1, because not only are the odds higher than 2% just to flop 2 pair or better, but also sometimes you can finagle 1 pair being the best hand as well.
Oh,
Obviously, you know. Now we get a raise here by seat 4 with ace jack off suit. Seat 7's going to call with a jack 9. And we got 4-way action here. So it's about a $48 pot minus the rake and the jackpot drop. Here we go to the flop. 8, 8, 9. Dennis has got
yeah.
top pair. And he's going to bet it. Now remember, he has pretty much just bet when he's had it, Dave. We haven't seen him make any moves, and he's played it passively.
3 players.
But Michael's going to call with an open-ended straight draw, and Bao's going to take it off.
with just open-ended. Wow.
Turns a 5. Well, Bao was the original raiser. Gets checked.
See, a
and
flop
Dennis is
like
gonna
that, do you
bet.
really want to take one for?
Well, Michael hits the straight here on the turn, and let's see if he's going to check raise. No, he just calls.
Heads up.
He just calls. And the river here is an ace. And he checks it again. Is he check raising the river here? Or is he scared of a full house? He's just going to check call.
I got straight.
He's going to check call there. Wow.
Wow. See, that's why you don't really have to be scared of a check raise in the river. Even with a straight, the guy doesn't check raise.
Right.
Wow. And look at Private Joker on 2+2. Comes in and defends us. Please do not defend us. We are this stupid. Okay, so in this case, this guy's saying, actually, I probably stand corrected. The chances of flopping 2 pair trips and full house quads with a random ham is 3.5%.
Yeah.
Or 28 to 1. So now, if you have even just 1 chip extra, in let's say a 30-60 game, you're in the small blind, you have Jack 4 off suit. Do you really want to call for that 1 chip?
I think you do if you get those types of odds. Because again,
Really?
yeah, because
Okay.
again, flopping, a pair is good enough sometimes too. And if I'm confident that I can outplay a lot of the people at the table,
Right. I mean, if the game is a passive game and you
Yeah.
think you can outmaneuver players and outplay them, okay. But in a tough game, you might get yourself really stuck. Because let's say the flop comes out Jack high,
Right.
you bet it, you get called in 2 spots. Now, do you even know where you're at?
we're going to see 7-way action here. The pot was limped around. Ace, Jack, 10 here. A couple of spades.
Seat 1 has got a Jack.
Well, Bao bets here with an ace in seat 4.
And look, Michael's got an ace as well. Okay.
Yeah. Jose's going to call with, looks like bottom pair there. Button calls.
And as it looks right now, if it were to go through, Bio and Michael might chop this one up because they both have aces with a Jack and a 10.
And Ben calls with Jack 8.
Jump.
Here we go. 5-way action to the turn. Turns at 3.
Oh, I checked.
Still a lot of cards for those aces to dodge if they're going to chop this one out cleanly here.
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
end.
Well, at this point here, Michael's in the lead.
And the
there's
river's a
9.
9. And the aces are still good to chop this,
Yeah,
right?
this
Dave?
was actually a chop. They both have a pair of
Yeah.
aces with a Jack 10-9 kickers.
Yeah.
Chop.
And look at Greg. I mean, again, it kind of, just an indication of a little bit of inexperience. Greg there in seat 5. We've kind of been seeing him play questionably all night this flop. He had a red queen 6 of heart on that flop. He had a gut shot, But what happens? I mean, when you catch the gut shot, first of all, you might be chopping it up with someone else. If it's a spade, you don't even know if it's good.
It's also a matter of even if you hit it on the turn,
Might you get
your
really get
opponent's
paid
going
off?
to be redrawing too.
Right.
Just very little equity there.
I mean, and the other thing too is like if you bet it with the straight, you might not get called. There may be no implied odds because the straight is so obvious.
Right.
Obviously. Okay.
Is somebody gonna with a 10 jack or is
Right.
it 10 jack queen? No, 10 jack king ace board.
Right,
Is
exactly.
somebody gonna pay you off with ace 5?
Someone going to pay you off if they don't have a queen in their hand.
Right.
That's just. Boy, CJ really hasn't played a hand all night, Dave. He's playing it tight. Now our 2+2 are over there, and C3's got ace queen off in the small blind. Some people who are real aggressive might actually raise this and take charge of the hands. For the most part, with a couple people in, I like to just play it a little passively, and that's what he's going to do. Ace queen's tough to play out of position,
Definitely.
and he just completes. Now let's see how he plays it here. He's going to bet right out with the ace queen. And again, seat 5 calls, queen 8 of spades. Now Ben also has queen. That's the case queen that came on the flop. Now let's see if Jeff continues to fire, if he's going to shut down here. He's going to keep betting. Well, I guess if you've got people that are going to call it without top pair, again, let's see if he shuts down here on the river. The river's a 10.
And he's good. He's going to check it down.
Check it down. Ace queen's good.
I don't terribly mind to keep betting. There were 2 hearts on the board, plus there's some draws out there.
Yeah.
If somebody was calling me the hearts, I want to make them pay for it.
Right.
And on the river, if they miss the hearts, well, he's certainly going to pay me up with a king, obviously, and I'll
Right.
lose. So I can only beat a weaker queen. So
You already played in the tournament?
It's 7:04.
only a few times I actually like a check down the river.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it in.
It's fun. I mean,
Yeah, I just wanted to. That's what I came here for, really, just to play in there, you know.
This is just a bonus?
are you still free rolling? You're still free rolling, right?
Yeah.
I play better when I'm free rolling.
Button's going to move over here to C3.
I was reading this post from Sweet Jazz, and I loved it all the way up until he said he likes Herm Edwards. I mean, he seemed like such a great guy, and I'm like, wow, this guy's great.
And you're the biggest Jets fan in the world, too,
I
right?
bleed green.
Lived around here again. 10, 6, 9, all clubs. And it looks like seat 1's got ace 4 with the ace of clubs. Now, Bao's going to come out and bet here with 8, 9, Dave. A red 8, 9. Dennis is going to call with ace 10. Now, if I was going to play ace 10, is he playing it to try to keep the pot small, and if a safe card comes here on the turn, he's going to raise the turn? That's very, very advanced. I don't know if I necessarily give him that credit, but it's actually a play that you could do here with ace 10.
It's a great play
as
to make.
opposed to raising the flop. here.
Yeah, you raise
Yeah.
the flop, you make the pot.
Well,
bigger.
now anyone with an 8 has a straight, and now Bao's going to lead again. So that's not a safe card that's coming early on the turn. And he's going to lay it down.
Yeah.
So he put the minimum amount on the
Yeah,
flop.
I don't know if Dennis would have raised the turn, but it would have been a great play.
Yeah.
If, let's say, a red deuce comes out.
Well, there's the club, and now Ben's made the nut flush. And he's going to bet.
Let me just double check, make sure both my cards are red.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is that sometimes if you check that river, you're inducing a bluff.
Yeah.
But then again, this guy's called you twice now. What do you think?
Well,
of
that's
that?
why sometimes you can actually bet on the river, and if you get raised, you just safely throw it away.
Exactly.
For value. If you're going to call anyways, if you decide
Well,
to
if you're
make a call.
right, if you're going to call anyway,
Yeah.
let's be honest. If you bet it, the guy's not going to raise you with anything less than
Yeah.
the ace, or maybe a straight flush, obviously. He's not
Yeah.
going to raise you the queen. He's not going to raise you the jack because he's worried that you might re-raise him with the nuts.
Right.
Um,
Now, the other issue that I was talking about, their concept, I think it was laid out somewhere in the Small Stakes Hold'em book, in that advanced play, Small Stakes Hold'em by Ed Miller, Dave. And
Good old Ed.
It's a good concept about sometimes when you want to keep the pot small, and you might even not raise a flop in early position with an overpair, so that you will drive out the draws with a double-sized bet on the turn. Because if you make a double-sized bet on the flop, they're still getting priced in if it was raised pre-flop
right,
to
and,
chase.
and the pocket's so big that nobody's going anywhere.
Right.
No,
But-
I've seen it oftentimes if, like, let's say you're in second position, you're in the big blind with a big hand,
Right.
and the first guy comes out and bets right away. Sometimes you might just call that.
Right.
Two people call, and then on the turn you pop them.
Well, and there's another reason to do that, and I'll get to it after this hand. C3 bet here, Jeff with King Jack. And looks like he got called in a few spots. Turns a deuce.
Good luck, you guys.
Let's see if he continues to
All
fire.
right, have a good time. Good luck in the tournament. All right?
And we've even often seen people, which is somewhat incorrect also.
Look at this. Dennis lays down the best hand here with King Queen. Jeff bet again here on the turn. He got King Queen to lay it down. And Ben's still in there 4-6. Rivers a 3, and this is probably going to go check, I'd imagine.
Jeff is earned.
Well, wait a minute. Maybe Jeff has seen Ben pay off with mediocre hands. He's made a value bet
Well, you
here
know
at the
what?
end.
Jeff is in position here.
Yeah.
And this is a different hand than last time. Last time, Ben was after Jeff.
Right.
But this time, Ben has checked to him. He goes, okay, this guy doesn't have an ace. There's no way.
And look at this. He's going to get the value in there again. Well, Ben has shown down the fact that he'll call with any pair. He's actually turned his cards up several times.
Right.
And that's a great value bet by our little 2+2er there, surfing a line eye. In C3, he got the best hand to lay it down with good aggressive play. I can guarantee you that if Seat 7 continued to the river, Jeff probably wouldn't have fired again on the river, I don't think.
Not with two players
Yeah,
there, right.
Yeah. But the other thing that we were talking about when keeping the pot small is if you have a big hand and, early position fires at you and you raise, not only is everybody going to call to you, but usually that person in early position will then check to you on the turn. And again, you can only make it one bet on the turn. So.
I've even seen people do this where they'll check in early position.
Right.
They'll get 4 people to call, then they'll raise. But their hand is very vulnerable, and that way they're keeping all those players in there because the pot's even bigger.
Right.
And obviously you're building up a big pot for yourself, but it can be dangerous.
King Jack here is raised in Seat 8. And Jose's going to call with King 8 suited in Seat 9.
Sometimes, I was in a car accident because of it. And I haven't...
And here we go. All red, 9-7 deuce with a couple of hearts. Got checked around. The turn's an 8, and Dennis in Seat 7's made a straight with his 5-6 of spades. And he's checked it. And now Joseph's going to bet. Jose is going to... Uh-oh, Jose's going to raise here. Thinking he has the best hand with King 8. Let's see if Dennis check raises. Yeah, he's going to check raise all in, it looks like. Or he's all in. I don't know if it's a full bet. No, it's not. So it's basically just a call.
How much? No, I'll get more than that.
Well, maybe he's raising $4 more there, Dave. I think the whites play in this game, the blue chips. And both players call.
So they're both of them.
And it looks like everyone's drawing dead here. Is that right? Oh, a 10 could bring a win for Joseph in Seat 8. The river's a 7.
I got the ticket from the judge saying I got to pay financial restitution. So
Joseph checks.
I don't know.
And Jose checks on the side. And 5-6 is going to be good there for the ass end of the straight, as we call it, right?
Yeah. For those of you new to Live at the Bike, especially those watching and posting on 2+2 like Funky Monkey, one of the things they say here, well, they probably don't want to be too critical of players who would volunteer to be at the feature table. And obviously there are shows where we are very critical of the players.
Right.
But it's one of those things where you've got to obviously, you look at the game that we're watching or any particular game, and a lot of times we get recreational players that are playing. And to be critical of a player that's not a professional player that's here just to have a good time seems somewhat silly to me.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, you can put our own 2 cents in there of what we think might be the correct play.
Right.
But a lot of times people are coming down here just to have a good time, have a couple of drinks, gamble a little bit, maybe lose a couple of $100 or win a couple $100. But to rip their play left and right, which obviously you could do.
Well, I mean, I got to say,
sense.
we do rip people's plays, but we try not to keep it personal. I think that's the point that
Yeah,
you're trying to
exactly.
make. We never
Well, it's
really-
never personal.
Yeah.
But if you want us to be really harsh, if you want to listen to us when we're really harsh, watch our Friday show and our Thursday show.
And obviously that thread will be over in the high limit, no limit section of 2+2. Now we had a bet here by, I believe, Ben with ace-7, and everyone just called.
Joseph had a gut shot, but now he picked up a pair of jacks, and he's got the best hand.
Got checked around. The river's a 6, and Jack 10 looks to be good here.
Joseph's going to bet it.
Well, maybe he figures, I mean, no one has a queen.
Yeah, let's see Ben. Ben's got ace high. He's
No.
not going to pay him up with ace high.
Yeah. Again, I want to really, I mean, if seat 3 there, Jeff Klein, he was really paying attention. You got a guy like in seat 9, Ben, who's been calling with any pair and showing it. And that was a really good bet by King Jack.
Okay, yeah, you'll find it.
A couple of hands ago, Dave.
Yeah, definitely a good value bet. I mean, from what I've seen from this game, and I said the same thing when I'm watching the 20 game or the 30 game. To me, I'm a big proponent of value bet. I mean, to me, limit hold'em is all about those value bets, saving the value bet and getting them.
Right.
And a game like this, an extra $12 here, an extra $6 saved there, it adds up.
Yep.
At the end of the night, when you're looking down, you go, "Wow, I won or I lost." That's where it is.
Look, I'm in.
A couple limpers here. 4-way action.
Jack
4.
10, yeah.
Jack 4-10 here.
Joseph's got an opening in the straight draw. Actually, I'm sorry, no, he doesn't. He has second pair.
Jose's got top pair.
There you go.
Well, see, now, I ran into him because
Once again, we are live. We're unedited, unscripted. What you see, we see. Pretty much at the same time.
Dave, we get a special guest coming into the show, I think.
Who?
Well, we're going to see a bet here. I'll get to it at the end of the night, at the end of this hand. Jose is going to bet here.
I'm getting excited. Who could it be?
And Ben has called. Well, it's only going to be a couple people are going to recognize her from the old days of Loud Bike. The River's an 8.
Jack High still good. I'm a pair of jacks.
And Ben has bet here with ace 4. And that's no good. Jose is going to win it with Jack 7. And actually, it's not the same person I was thinking of, Dave, so disregard what I said. Disregard what I said.
so the rain damaged.
Anybody who I thought I got word in my headphones that Vicky was coming into the game, anybody who's an old school Live the Bike fan, remember Vicky from our 30-60 limit hold'em days.
Vicky. Good old Vicky.
Yeah. She always had top pair at the table.
Always.
Unbelievable. I would have wanted it to get it.
Button moves over here to seat 8.
And look at this. That's Jeff there with King Jack in early position. He's just going to limp in.
Yeah, well, that is interesting. Well, maybe he figures that it's such a passive, loose table that he can come in with some hands that you wouldn't normally come in with a tough table in early position here.
Right.
That's the first thing I did.
Raising's not really getting anybody out anyway.
Spun, hit the shoulder, and the first thing I did
6-way action here, and he's hit top pair. So he's probably going to bet and see where he's at.
Well, this is interesting now. Seat 1.
Well, now Ben's going to bet, and he's going to pop it up here. Well, in this case, when the pot was unraised pre-flop, when you make it a double-sized bet, you are pricing somebody off of gut shots if
Of
you
course.
raise the flop.
That's the whole point of it.
Yeah. But Dennis calls with the gut shot, which he probably shouldn't. And seat 8 there calls with bottom pair, which he probably shouldn't. Turns of 3. And
Now, Joseph has actually picked up a flush draw.
Yeah, a bet here by Jeff. Call here by Dennis, again with the gut shot.
And probably a call by Ben, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Ben's not going anywhere top pair, huh?
And here we go to the river. Jeff's going to have to dodge some cards. And the river's a 7, and he
dodged
dodged him.
Wow.
And he's not going to bet here at the end.
Really?
King Jack is good here.
Think it was good on mine?
Well, I think he was just shut down because he just wanted to win that in showdown, Dave. Maybe
Yeah,
scared
and
of
I guess he
two-pair.
kind of looked at it and said, well,
Yeah.
everybody's calling me. What does everybody have?
Now, again, the difference with that hand and in a hand where the pot was raised pre-flop was that, singles bets. I mean, even if the pot was raised pre-flop, I gotta be honest with you, I don't normally chase a gut shot with a double-sized bet on the flop.
No.
Because, it's a double-sized bet. So you definitely don't want to do it when the pot's limped around pre-flop. But those are the types of hands that you're going to win a lot of money in when people are going for draws when they really don't have the odds to. And the same thing can be said over there in seat 8, I believe. He had a single pair with an overcard kicker. The pot was big, maybe you can call a single bet on the flop with a pair, but not in that situation. Jeff played it right. He raised it.
Right.
The
Well,
pot wasn't that big.
You're not going to call a double bet there. No way.
Yeah.
Not if you want to make money, that is.
Right. And seat 8 is all in here for 6 chips with pocket jacks.
That's Joseph.
Yep. Now we have to see. There we go. And it's going to be heads up here. 2 ace-3s against the blinds. So pocket jacks is all in, and ace-3 on the side against ace-3 on the side.
Sure.
Now, no, we were talking about this. Not a lot of inherent value to bet on the side here, Dave. If players, if they don't have anything. Yeah, and jacks are going to take it down here. And they did just check it down on the side, so.
I mean, not unless you think you're protecting your hand.
But I don't. Well, I guess the only thing, maybe you think you can get a bigger ace off of it, and you hope the razor might have something like king queen or king jack in the late position.
Well, no, I'll throw another thing.
I'm
at
saying
you.
in that specific
Right.
hand.
Let me throw you something. I'll throw something at you. Let's say you have ace-3, right? I have ace-queen, but
Right.
the all-in guy has jacks.
Right.
Now I'm almost drawing dead, right? But if I get you off the hands and then I hit my ace, well then I can win.
Or if the other guy had brought it in with king queen and it was rags
Right.
on the board, and I had ace-5 and you had ace-jack, and I bet you out of the hand, and rags continued to come out the rest of the way, I would win with ace-5.
Right, exactly. The time you don't really want to go, bet somebody off the hand is, if you've got 8-7 suited.
Right.
Then there's not much value because your 8 high is not going to win anything.
Right.
Although I've seen that. I've actually seen somebody raise on the river
Yep.
with 8 high to get one player off a hand, and then the all-in guy won the pot anyway.
Ace-9-3 here. And Michael's got top pair. He's going to bet.
Talk about a no-draw flop there. Look at that. Ace-9-3 rainbow.
So we got an email here from Tony D. Tevis. Said the chances of making 2 pair are better off the flop, 3.8%.
Huh?
Thanks for that.
I had an ace with no kicker, so I had to do what I could do.
Now, it's funny when we start talking about correct odds and stuff. I was playing 2040 on Saturday, and one of the funniest things, this woman actually would call on the big blind, like it would be 3-bet rounds, right? And she would call on the small blind, the big blind, if there were 3 people in there, no matter what, because she'd go, oh, pot odds.
Right.
I mean, she's calling Jack 3, King Deuce.
Well, I always think it's amazing that people who play no limit hold'em, sometimes it's almost instinctual that when they start playing limit hold'em, they think that they can come in with a lot more hands because, hey, even if it gets raised, it's only 1 extra bet, and I can limp in with a lot of hands, when it's actually the opposite. You want to play tighter in limit hold'em because there are less implied odds within the hands. 5-way action here, it's limped around.
There it is.
Ace, king, king here. Now, CJ and Jose both have top pair. Now, look at this. CJ's going to fold here in early position with ace-4, Dave, with so many people behind her. I like the play, I got to be honest with you.
3 players.
And Jose calls. Jeff had led with pocket 5s. The turn's a queen. I mean, at most, you're probably hoping for a chop, right?
With that many players in there, yeah. I mean,
and now Jose is going to bet when it gets checked to him. I just mucked the pocket 7s. And Jeff is going to fold with pocket 5s.
Pocket 7.
Oh, yeah?
Now, the only interesting thing about that, though, is that I don't know if Jeff hasn't really shown many of his hands. But if I know Jeff, and I know that he's a good player and he might be a tricky player, and I know he listens to the show and likes to fire into boards that are paired, I might raise there with ace-4, because I think he might not have anything. In that case, CJ had a better hand.
Right.
But, again, even if you raise in this game, it doesn't seem like you're ever going to get anybody off of an ace anyways.
Well, in that case, she was actually correct. I mean, it actually would have been a chop pot when the queen came out.
Right.
But she's hoping for a chop.
Right.
So.
You let me know, all right?
I mean, predominantly when I watch Limit Hold'em, and you and I have put in a lot of hours of Limit Hold'em at various levels. And I've noticed, I mean, the tighter you play, and I don't want tight passive. When I say tight aggressive, I mean tight solid play. I mean, that usually takes the money down.
Yeah.
I just don't see loose players winning very often in Limit Hold'em, not in the long run at least.
Queen, queen, queen here, especially in full ring games, right?
No, yeah, I mean, hey, obviously if you're playing 4-handed, 5-handed,
Yeah.
3-handed, it's a completely different game. If you're playing in a tournament, it's a completely different game.
Yeah. Now, we got 2 full houses that have been flopped here. Joseph bets with pocket 3s, and Jose just calls with 8s. Turn is an ace.
All in 4 chips.
And Joseph's all in for 4 chips.
And Jose's going to call.
Jose's going to call. And Joseph cannot win this hand.
No, yeah, he's drawing dead. Actually,
Oh,
look at
now
that.
it's chop. Well, he was drawing to a chop.
Yeah.
And it got there. Chop at the end. Because obviously, if the 3 had come on the river, it wouldn't have mattered. Jose's queens full of 8s would still play.
And that was actually he actually had 2 outs. He had a queen or an ace.
Right.
Well, obviously other aces as well. But
Right.
that was it.
3 outs, right? Queen or 2 more aces, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we can't. There's no one to do that.
Of course, in Texas Hold'em, you can play any 5 combination, any 5 cards in any combination.
Right, if a queen had fallen, obviously, they both would have had quad queens with an ace kicker.
We have another email here. This is from Robert Brown. Again, you can email us with questions, comments, suggestions at live@thebike.com. Live@thebike.com.
Pretty crazy stuff.
He says, do we have kill pots in limit games here at the bike? Well,
No,
we do
we
in
do not.
Omaha, but not in Hold'em.
Right.
Right.
Omaha and Stud High Low is actually not a kill pot. It's more of an action button, right?
Right.
Kind of a forced blind
Right.
in our 2040 Stud High Low. Wow, and I've also played with her. That's seat 6. That's Vicky, I
Right.
assume.
So have I.
And I've played at 20 with her and 30 with her.
Yeah.
She's an interesting way to stack her chips.
She's
Have you seen
pretty
her?
loose, Dave.
Pretty laggy,
Yeah.
or just
Well,
loose?
not really laggy, just
Loose passive.
yeah, which is always a good tape. You know what you like, the type of player that if you want to take down the money, those are the types of players you want to play against. Loose passive.
Well, it's funny. Somebody's actually asking me. They said, "Who would you rather play against? Would you rather play against a tight, passive, predictable player? Or would you rather play like somebody like Sean, or would you rather play against a loose passive player like her, or like let's say like Tony?
Yeah.
You know, who would you rather? Which one?
Well, Jose has called this one. Jose is bet here with ace high. Or excuse me, Ben is called bet with king queen.
know, man.
Dennis called with a gut shot, and Jose's going to continue to take one off here with ace high.
Me too.
And the river's a 3. And if Jose sees showdown here, his hand is good with ace 8. But let's see if Ben's going to bet here again.
Okay.
He's going to bet it, and this play is probably going to work. Yeah, he's going to take it down there, dude.
It's the first bluff of the night.
Yeah, pretty much.
Here we go.
And he shows it too. He shows it too. Well,
it
obviously
down,
there's
Ben.
advantages of 2 different types of players.
Right.
When you're against a very, very predictable player,
You actually have to have
You know.
a pair to take down.
that has its advantages. If I'm at a table, I actually want to see kind of loose passive play. I mean, a lot of limping and not much raising is great too, especially at the mid.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
That was
But I don't mind tight, passive, somewhat predictable,
Yeah.
where I kind of know where they're at all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I love those kind of players. We have a few players that we play against on a regular basis that it's almost like they could turn their cards face up.
Right. Well, the funny thing is, I think a lot of those players are winning players because Limit Hold'em is almost a no-brainer. In fact, kind of even the tighter you play, there's going to be enough bad play in there where people are making calls with the wrong things that you can win money playing like that anyway.
Yeah.
Not as much money,
Right.
but you could win money.
Now, Greg's picked up a diamond draw.
Everybody checked on the flop, and it got checked around on the turn, and the river's a jack.
Well, he backs into the pair of jacks here.
Yeah.
Greg's got the best hand.
any forward motion.
Let's see if he bets on the button.
Pair of sevens.
I don't think so. No. Remember, Greg has pretty much played as passive as anyone on this table so far. I mean, that's interesting that he didn't bet the turn, Dave, in position with a second nut draw.
Yeah.
A couple of overcards to the second pair there. I mean,
And
you
then
figure
didn't
no
bet
one
the
showed any
river.
strength, and maybe no one had an ace. Yeah.
Now, we are live at the bike here. We stream live cash games every
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 p.m. Come check us out.
Yep.
Button is in seat 6 right now. Small blind is 1 chip. That's Dennis. And seat 8, Joseph. Is he still there? He is there. He's rebought. Once again, this is a cash game, so you can always rebuy.
Trying your jackpot deal.
And he's obviously in there for 3 chips, the big one.
Go ahead, there are 2 players. Haven't seen my cards yet,
2 players in the pot here. Ace, deuce, 8.
Yes, sir. I'll check. 2 players. Hold on, wait there.
Turns a jack of hearts here. And Joseph's picked up a flush draw, and the river's king.
Go ahead. Show.
It's just going to get checked down.
You want to hear exciting, though? Kind of funny.
Oh,
We've been
now that Russ McGinley has joined the post.
yeah,
on 2
we've
plus
been
2.
we've been going after Russ Fox for his book for the longest time, and look what we got from Russ Fox. Finally, Mastering No Limit Hold'em.
But you're not endorsing it. You haven't read it yet.
I am not endorsing it. All I'm saying is
Yeah.
we got the book. It's Mastering No Limit
And he
Hold'em.
only gave us one copy.
How many copies do you want?
They're not getting fought.
One for me too.
No, you get to read my copy.
Oh, I mean,
It actually says
we got a
Tuck and-
book full of poker aces here.
Yes,
a
yes,
whole box full
Which
of
we
poker.
endorse.
Yes, yes.
It's a great book.
Poker Aces, Stars of Tournament Poker by Ron Rose.
And I know, and Barry Greenstein gave me Ace on the River, which is a great book.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable read. Different kind of poker book.
Actually, I'm interested to read Russ Fox's book there because I think it's the only real book about restricted bind games, right?
Yeah, well, this book really focuses on the low no limit game, the
Right.
small no limit game.
Now, Vicky
So-
raced here with Jack 9 of diamonds there in late position. Ace Queen Deuce here with a couple hearts.
Well, a game like this, she could take advantage of this game because everybody is kind of playing it pretty passive.
Well, Ace Queen Deuce, and look at that. Jose calls with pocket sevens.
Well,
And look,
he's-
he spikes a 7 here on the turn.
And he checks it. And of course, he'll check raise, I assume.
Yeah. And she's not going to call.
You sure?
Yeah, and here comes the check raise. And she is drawing dead. Well, actually, yeah, she is drawing dead. Does not have a straight draw. And she's going to let it go here. And Jose is going to take it down. The only problem here, though, I mean, a lot of people lose a lot of money with pocket pairs. Now, I would have been wrong in this situation because I would have folded 7s on the flop. Because when the flop comes ace, queen, blank, what can you possibly beat?
Jack 9 of diamonds.
Exactly. Or no, I mean, I'll be honest with you,
King
King
Jack.
Jack. That's
King
about
Jack.
it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
King
just...
10. I mean, you've got to start thinking of playing the player. Though,
And not
sometimes.
only if they have King Jack or King 10, if you specifically know that they have that, they have a gut shot with overcards. You're only 50-50 with 2 cards to come anyways,
Right.
if you're lucky that they have that, right?
Right.
With 2 cards to come. So it's...
I mean, there's also the time where I want to play. If I'm playing the player and I
Right.
get to know that person, you know, and I can put them on. And maybe they have pocket 9s.
Yeah.
Maybe I can represent the ace and I can get them off the hand.
I think seat 5 is raised here with pocket jacks. Now, Vicky is going to...
She smooth calls with ace deuces.
Now, who is the raiser
hearts.
here? Is it seat 6 or seat 5? I'm asking people out there.
We'll find out really quick.
Actually, it was seat 6, so
Wow.
Vicky brought it in with ace deuce. Greg limped with pocket jacks in early position. I
And
usually will,
Michael's got ace 6 spades.
I will raise that usually 100% of the time, Dave. King 4-6, a couple diamonds, and Greg's got the best hand here. Vicky's gonna bet.
It's hard to run over a 6-12 game, isn't it?
Yeah. Ben is gonna call with a gut shot. Michael calls with ace 6.
Hey, Greg calls.
Turns a deuce.
Well,
one has a
nobody
diamond.
nobody
Yeah.
has diamond there. Almost everybody has some sort of a draw or a pair.
Vicky's gonna bet again.
Wow, she's not taking the free card here?
Nope.
Wow.
Well, she's picked up a pair. Maybe she's... Well, let's see. The problem here is that we've seen Greg make this call all... Well, he doesn't have a diamond in his hand. Yeah, he's going to call. He can't beat the flush, he can't beat the king, but he's going to continue to take off here.
He can only beat a bluff.
And the river's an 8.
And he still has the best hand, but is he going to pay her off?
And Vicky's going to bet again.
And he is going to pay
Yeah,
her
he's
off.
going to call. Well, maybe I give my players too much credit, Dave, because, again, I look at that and I'm like, boy, there isn't a whole lot I can beat out there. I mean, maybe pocket 9s, pocket 10s. I can't
Right, well, the
beat a
problem
flush.
is, though, the way that Greg played the hand, he's basically induced a bluff, because let's be honest, she's raised pre-flop, right? And she's bet it, and she's bet it. I mean, she could have ace-queen. She could have ace-jack. I mean, there's
Right.
so many hands she could have. I mean, she could have pocket 10s even. I mean, there are a lot of
Yeah.
hands she could have had.
Apparently.
It's just tough to, there's only one overcard.
Little tiny green chips don't do anything. Don't push anybody around.
Look at this on 2+2, Dave. Whalecock. He says, Vicky, comma, I remember them.
We should have some
moves
sort
over here to
of, we should have some
C9.
sort of sentimental music, huh? Right now? Cue music.
My producer, Evelyn, is just shaking her head.
Oh, she loves it. Lives for this stuff.
Vicky is raised here with another suited ace. Ace 7 of spades.
Players.
And we get called here in a few spots. 9-8-3 with a couple
And just
of clubs.
to mention Kev Math at 2+2, Notice, David, who the hell is Ed Miller? Tuckman isn't discussing the book. I have read it now. I hadn't read it before, but I have read it now. Like I said, I've got probably got a library of somewhere around 50 poker books.
Yeah.
2 players.
And try to get one every couple of weeks, but
Hey, darling.
Look
hard
at
to
that
keep
trip
up with all of
nines
them.
there for Jose. He catches it. He had top pair on the flop. And Vicky's still calling here with ace-7.
she's dead.
She has no draw, right?
Yeah.
River's a deuce.
And she's just burning through cash.
Jose's going to bet again. Why not? No, she's not going to pay it off this time.
Wow. That's interesting. She plays 20 and she plays 30, and obviously when I see her in a game, I'm really happy. I don't know if she plays it quite this loose
Right.
in that game.
When I rate you before, I had a pack of 7 before. The 27, make it perfect. Make you get out.
No. This is his part, right?
And look at Jeff over there with that chip, with those chips, Dave. That's a lot of chips.
Yeah, it's amazing. Most of the 2+2ers that have come on the show have won. I think the only person that actually lost was Russ McGinley.
Yeah, and he lost big.
Yeah, he was. Oh,
Now you
man.
win. Go
He
Ray.
just got schooled left and right.
Hey,
In his defense,
Schooled is one word for it, I guess. when
yeah,
you
in his
check.
defense, he actually got sucked out on over and over,
over and over again. Yeah.
Tough night for Russ McGinley.
Ace-9-4. Looks like someone's got ace-9s for top 2 here.
Yeah, that is actually Dennis.
He's going to bet. Why not?
Well, he's pretty passive. I want to see if he gets any, if he'll raise even, if somebody, pushes back at him. But
That doesn't look like
I don't think he's
anyone
going to get a call, is he? No.
I mean, the other thing about, anyone who's new to the show knows that Dave and I are really big proponents of fast playing hands and no limit because of action killers, for a number of reasons. But slow playing and limit, again, if I were to give somebody advice about limit hold'em, I would say slow playing is only correct in such small instances and occasions that I would tell someone who's new, never slow play. And it would be usually correct.
Yeah.
Especially in a pot that's already big.
Yeah,
Which
if-
in these games, there's already a multi-way pot,
If you're teaching somebody for the first time to play, it's
Yeah.
simple. Like, if you have top pair or over pair,
Right,
bet or raise.
right. But even if you have trips or have a set, bet or
Bet.
raise, because you can get paid off in so many spots. And by slow playing, you're almost...
I know he's winning.
You give somebody a free draw at something,
Yeah. And
and then
you're
when they
also-
don't get there, they don't pay you off.
You're also not making them... Yeah, you're also, you're not charging them.
Yeah. I mean, we just saw earlier there, Jose had trip 9s.
Right,
He bet on the turn, and he got called by an ace high.
right.
I mean,
Pot was checked around here, and now Jeff has picked up a pair. But Greg is going to... Jeff is going to lead out here with the ace.
the only thing I say, sometimes people say, well, what about mixing up my play? In a game like this,
Is anybody paying attention to your play, though?
exactly. There's
You
just
know?
no value in mixing up your play unless people are really paying attention.
Right.
Now, you and I play in a 30-60 game, and we play with the same people day in and day out and day in and day out. If I always bet my hands and I never check raised,
Right,
well, then I'd be giving away a lot of information. So
Right.
once in a while, I have to throw in a check raise.
right.
You know,
Or
once in
throw
a
in
while.
some sort of tricky play.
Yeah, I just got to mix it up once in a while so you can't, get a read on me every single time.
I really
I'm not going to do it.
But so many times, people will bluff to advertise. Don't even bother. Just play your game.
Yeah.
Don't bother advertising, especially in a game like this.
Again, we're talking about usually a lower level limit game.
Even
Yeah.
to be honest with you, even our 2040 game here.
No, straightforward play is the.
You
But
go down to the Bellagio and you play for 5 hours in a 2040 game.
Right.
Nobody's paying attention. They're come on, tourists. They're drinking.
Now Ben here is raised with ace queen preflop and he's picked up the top pair, and Vicky bets with the jack. See how Ben plays it. I just played straightforward and I raise here, and he's gonna raise. You don't want someone sticking around with a gut shot, Dave.
And look, and she calls.
Yeah, she's gonna make the call with
Make the
second
most
pair.
money you can.
Yeah. Turn is an 8.
She's going to check it. He's going to bet, and look at her. She's
I think that she's going to call all the way, and this is the type of thing that's not that uncommon, this type of hand that plays out. And the river's a queen. He makes trips.
and that's going to make it even more likely for her to call.
And she does queen. She does call.
Basically, you're running. Very nice. I have a jack.
And the other thing I got to tell you, too,
I'm under 500.
if you hop into a game and you haven't had time to scope the game out or see really what the players are,
Yeah.
there are a couple of, things that I look for that lets me know that this player is, okay, he's a good player and an advanced player.
Oh, you mean if you sit down and like, what is the first clue? Little clues. Okay.
Somebody who folds the small blind in a 2-4 chip structured game to an unraised pot pre-flop.
Right.
Somebody who I see will actually raise with trips and raise with sets and raise with their hands.
Right.
If I look at somebody and somebody slow plays a connected board that's flop trips, I kind of look at that person and I'm like, well, this guy really isn't an advanced player, is he?
Yeah, it used to be funny. When I first started playing poker, one of the first things I would look at is how people play with their chips and handle their chips.
Right.
But with the advent of the internet, you really can't look for that anymore because there are a lot of really great players that play on the internet. And
wow, two people
obviously don't shuffle chips.
Two people have flush draws here. Greg with top pair and flush draw, and Jeff with a flush draw and a gut shot, straight flush draw.
What a hand for Greg, huh? What a flop for him.
But Dennis has got the 7 of hearts. And Jeff is going to raise here with his straight and flush draw. And Greg just calls. Now, his hand is really good enough to really pound here.
Jeff's hand?
Yeah.
The only problem with his hand is if a 7 were to hit, it is a one-liner to a straight if anybody has a 10.
And it goes check, check here. So Jeff takes the card, and now Greg has picked up 2 pair.
6.
And Greg is going to bet, and if Jeff has been paying attention, there's absolutely no way that you can call there with a pair of 6s against Greg. Because Greg has never bet the entire night that we've seen it.
Now, if the Jack of Spades is not on the flop there, I like my hand a little bit better.
Yeah.
Only because I'm scared that somebody might back into a higher straight than mine.
And one of the other things, too, that maybe Jeff noticed there was that there was really no point in betting the turn there because it seems like seat 5 is going to call regardless of what he has. Now, you might turn that around and say, well, if I think my best hand is good with a pair of 6s, why not bet if he's just going to call with like a weak, ridiculous ace or something like that?
Yeah, it's hard to put him on a hearts, though, because I've got hearts.
Yeah.
So, I agree with you. I like the play, though. I like him just checking.
Yeah.
Taking the free card.
Option. 3 players.
9-5 deuce here with a couple diamonds.
Nice posting from CW Siggy. I'd like to get Bart and Tuck's opinion on his recent Mason Mammoth hand. Actually, send us a private message, and we'll take a look at it. We'll talk about it tomorrow or Wednesday on the next No Limit night.
Ben flop bottom 2 pair here. He bet it, and he's going to bet again on the turn. Dennis has got a pair and a 7 of diamond draw. And he check called the flop, and he's going to call again here. And if a diamond comes, he's good. Ben needs to dodge a king, a 9, a 5, or a diamond. The river's a queen.
Ben's good.
Yeah.
Ben's going to continue betting.
Well, he's got 2 pair.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think the guy's just calling with the 9, why not, right?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, 2 pair is almost always good enough to value bet, isn't it? I mean, obviously it depends on the situation, but heads up, if the board looks like that, I know there are 3 diamonds out there, probably going to value bet and limit 2 pair. I mean, I guess you can make a case for it no limit. We talk about how you don't necessarily want to bet, marginal hands on the river, because anytime you bet on the river or anytime you bet no limit, you always open yourself up to a stack re-raise, pretty much.
Huge, right.
Right.
But once you reopen the betting,
Right.
we always talk about that, raising with only a marginal hand, because
Right.
can you stand a big re-raise?
Right.
In limit hold'em, I'm a big part of value bet. If you think your hand might be the best hand, bet it.
Right.
Because unless somebody has the nuts, they might not even re-raise you. They might just call because they're worried you might have the nuts.
Yeah.
Right.
So I better have a really expensive.
And you'll be amazed at how many times you're paid off with like some crappy hand. You'll be like, wow.
5 players.
5-way action here. Well, ace king over there for seat 9.
Yeah, I think his hand's good here.
And I think he checked it from up front.
The action's on C.
So he's playing the little slow play, and
And he checked it. He didn't raise pre-flop, by the way.
no, he was in the big blind. Ace king off suit, that's one way to play it. I don't necessarily always do that
players.
in the big blind. Now, C5 actually bet out a turn, so I thought that Jose was going to check it and check raise the
Well,
flop.
Gray's got 2 pair also.
And let's see if Jose's going to raise now. He's going to check raise the turn. Yeah, Greg had top and bottom, and Jose had top 2.
And Greg is going to call this with 2 pair.
And the river's a 6. It's a 3rd spade.
Might slow him down a little bit.
But he bets it anyways. He bets the... And ace king's going to be good here.
Take it down.
Now, I don't...
Unlucky flop for Greg
Dave,
there.
I don't normally like to raise with high unsuited cards out of position in the blinds, but in this game, from what I've seen, if I've been paying attention, a lot of people are coming in with a lot of inferior pre-flop holdings. I might raise there for value with ace king.
Yeah, oftentimes, one thing I've noticed, a lot of good players if they're 3-betting or
Yeah.
they're raising out of the blinds, they usually have queens, kings, races. It almost seems like that. So obviously, once in a while, you want to mix that up.
Right.
If you're playing with players, the same players day in and day out. One little post there, somebody was talking about the outs that the player had when he had pocket 3s and the guy had
Right.
pocket 8s. And you are correct, it is 4 outs. Remember, our show is live. We're unedited, unscripted. So we see it as you see it. So obviously, once in a while, we'll, or more than once in a while, we'll screw up.
Once it hits the floor, it's on.
6 players.
We get 6-way action here, and it's limped around. Ace 7-9 on the flop,
Yeah, nobody's got an ace.
or a 9.
There is a 7 out there, though.
Ben in seat 1.
And Greg is open-ended.
And Ben's played it pretty much the same way all night. He bets any pair that he has.
And calls with any pair he has.
Yeah.
3 players.
6-8 is called with the open-ender, and Vicky is called with Queen 10, and she hits a pair here on the turn.
I mean, interesting call there. I mean, she's got no draw.
Nope, no draw at all.
And she doesn't even know if the queen is good if she hits it.
Right, because it's not top pair.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, Ben bet, Greg calls. How do you call with Queen 10?
How do you overcall? Right.
Right, I mean,
River's a 6.
and she's good. I mean, she got lucky here.
Let's see if Ben pays her off all the way again, Dave. He's been doing it all night. She's going to value bet the river.
Well, you know, when they check it to her and they kind of say, okay, I don't have an ace.
And he does call.
Yeah.
And the queen is good.
I mean, you look at that flop and you're going, man, she doesn't have a straight draw. She doesn't have backdoor anything. I mean, it's not even like there's 2 spades out there.
Right.
You kind of wonder, you go, man, what, you put one of them on a bottom pair and you put one of them on a straight draw?
Now, the other thing that people who are new to the show should check out, if you go to the top left-hand corner of your screen, there's a banner that says, Watch the Archives.
What the heck is that?
Well, all of the shows that we've been doing since February are on our server, and you can sign up for the archives. Subscription costs $14.95 a month. Will get you access to all of the shows that we've ever done.
I'm pretty sure we raised the price, didn't we?
No.
Really?
No. You can get commentary.
Wow.
Barry Greenstein was a guest commentator for 3 hours, I think 3 or 4 times. Kathy Liebert came in here. We had Greg Raymer in here. We had Doyle Brunson, Joseph Haysham in here. It's a great Christmas present for someone that might be just trying to learn poker as well, Dave. So check it out.
Fabulous, man.
The archives.
If you
top
can't get enough of
left-hand
poker,
corner of your
hey,
screen.
look at big flop for CJ here, huh? She's got an open-ended, she's got a gut shot straight draw with the nut flush draw.
Yep. And I believe that she bet, and a couple people called. The turn's a 7. See, and look at this. Ben's going to continue to bet. Let's see what Jeff does here with the weak ace.
Now I'm curious what Dennis is going to do with trip 7s.
Well, now that the board paired, there's 2 spades out there. Does Jeff want to get involved in this? And he's going to lay it down. And again, it's a good lay down.
Yeah, it is a good laydown. Why get involved in that kind of pot?
And is CJ going to chase here with
you
the
gotta
paired
look,
board?
In that case there, his kicker
That's
doesn't...
very tight play by CJ. She lays it down.
Wow. Yeah.
And Dennis is going to raise.
Panning lamp, huh?
I don't even know if I would have laid that down with King Queen. I mean, maybe she was thinking that so many people play so many combinations that I don't want to take it for a double bet here.
Somebody might have a 7?
Exactly.
Okay.
Oh, my boyfriend.
And did Ben re-raise? Ben re-raised with ace 9.
Wow.
And the river's a 10.
That's no good there. Dennis is going to win this with 7s full.
Yeah. And Dennis really should bet here. And he is going to bet.
Well, if it gets checked to you, you know the guy doesn't have a 10.
Unless he's tricky and he might check raise you on the river.
Yeah, because that happens a lot at limit hold'em. Now, I got to tell you, I was going to just start this out. Jeff Klein's play there, I love the laydown when he had ace 6 there, because you're looking at it, his 6 doesn't even play. He's got aces and 7s with a 10 kicker, which means he chops it up with any ace, hopes to chop it up with an ace, unless the other guy's kicker plays. He's losing to any 7, plus he's still susceptible to anybody having spades. So I love the laydown. I got to be honest, though, CJ's play, unless somehow she knows Dennis has got trip 7s,
Right.
but I just don't see laying that down.
Did you just make a wise-ass remark to me, Dave, about that check raise on the river?
Me? I mean, it's very unlike me to be wise-ass
Did
or
you make a
sarcastic.
snide comment?
Snide comment.
No, I tend to agree with you. You really don't see a lot of check raising on the river, especially in live games. I see it on the internet, but not in live games. It's real rare.
I mean, I can count the number of times
Yeah.
I've been check raised on the river.
Yeah.
Actually, and I can literally count the number of times check raised bluff on the river has been maybe it's happened once or twice in my entire professional career.
You've
as a
been
poker
playing
player.
full time for 15 months here at the bike.
Even more.
right?
That's almost closing in on 2 years now.
Yeah.
So, nice flop for Dennis there.
He's going to bet it and take it down with pocket tens.
It just doesn't happen. Check raise bluff on the river. It's really rare.
Yes.
Don't go anywhere. I gotta ask. Really?
Oh, yeah. I would have paid you off.
Okay. Okay, put on my tab.
And if you want to play in this game, like we were talking before, is Monday night is going to be our limit game.
Yeah.
And, we might get a 6-12 game up here. We might get an 8-16 game up. That'll probably be the predominant game you'll see up on this on a Monday night. The other 4 nights of the week will be no limit generally.
Four-way action here. Everybody limped. 7 deuce 4 with a couple of clubs. Yeah, everyone's going to check it. Turn is a 9. And Jose's got top pair.
Yeah, Michael's picked up an open-ended straight draw. But it's 2 red cards, and there's 2 spades and 2 clubs out there.
Jose's going to bet here with the king 9.
Welcome to the bike.
Michael's going to get rid of it. Jeff, an easy fold for Jeff. And Vicky throws it away as well.
Feels good. No, not even.
Jose's played it pretty, played it pretty straight up tonight.
Your girlfriend, are you married? No. So your girlfriend sleeps, and you sleep on top of the couch.
I was going to ask, we did the 8-16 game last week. Do you notice a noticeable difference between this game and the 8-16 game? So I noticed.
I think some
things.
of the players are actually better in this game than in the 8 game.
The only thing I'll notice is this game's a lot more passive.
Yeah, it is.
The 6-12 game as opposed to the 8-16 game. The 8-16 game is a little more aggressive.
Find that like in those 4-8 chip structured games, you sometimes get action junkies in the game that just like to really jam the pot,
And we had a couple of those last week.
Yeah.
A lot of limping and a lot of flops you can see.
Right.
5 players, yes. Paul.
5-way action here. In this game, you might even say limp in with a pocket pair below ace in the first couple positions. You might limp in with ace X suited, which I'm not a huge fan of unless the game is perfect, conditions.
Right.
Now I see a bet here by Vicky. She's got a flush draw. She's going to bet right into it.
Yeah, well, why not? Nobody's raised, so she figures maybe nobody's got an ace.
Jose is going to raise here with ace 10, pretty straightforward. CJ immediately mucks pocket 7s.
Okay. 2 players.
And she
Vicky's gonna
calls.
call. Well, there's the flush on the turn.
Well, there's 2 pair for Jose, so I don't think he's going to go anywhere now.
Vicky's going to check, and Jose's going to bet, and I think we're going to see a check raise.
Pretty straightforward there, huh?
No, is she just going to call? She's just going to call.
Wow.
Heads up, I have a flush. I'm probably going to jam it. The river's an 8. And now she actually bets, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So she check-called the turn and then bet the river.
And if you wonder, to be honest with you now, somebody can say, well, he could have drawn out. To me, that's $12 lost.
Yeah.
She didn't make $12 that she should have made. If she raises that turn, he's definitely going to call, and in all likelihood, he's probably going to call the river as well.
See, honey, I played well.
Yeah. Suppose the range, the wrong thing.
Hi, honey.
Once again, we are live at the bike, folks. We're playing Limit Hold'em. Blinds are 6. Blinds. The Limit Hold'em, the limits are 6 and 12. Small blind is actually 1 chip, which is $2. Big blind is 3 chips, which is $6.
Yeah, I could have a lot of things.
We got a couple of limpers here, and we're getting a raise out of seat 1. Ben is raising it up with King Jack suited. And I don't mind that raise at all. He's in late position. He buys himself the button. Get more money in the pot with King Jack suited, which plays pretty well against, a lot of opponents.
4 players.
Figures he's probably got the best hand. He actually doesn't, because Greg's got ace 4.
I'm going to sit out for a hand.
But the best hand now is actually Jose with 8-9. And it checks around. And now's the queen of hearts. Now Greg has picked up a flush draw.
About as close as I'm going to get to
Let's see if Jose bets it this time. And he does. And Ben is going to take one off. Ben is calling with King Jack of clubs.
Not much. I like it.
It's all gravy.
Well, seat 5 is calling with the ace, the nut flush draw. And the river is the 5 of spades. No help. Jose's going to win this hand.
Who tips you more peach chips than anybody? Tell me.
And is Ben going to pay him off with king high?
You're such a guy.
Wow. I mean, I was talking to Bart about value betting, and he wasn't sure if you should value bet. I got to tell you, always bet the river if you think your hand might be good. I mean, this guy just paid him off with king high.
You got to come up with some new material.
Who, me? No, I haven't used it. That's for
I mean, if there's anything to learn from this game, and obviously you can learn from any game, one thing great about poker is you're always learning.
I can call you quarter mania.
Even the greatest professionals in the world, Doyle Brunson, Barry Greenstein, they still admit they're learning something new every day they play. And if you watch a game like this, you go, okay, well, there's not much reason to bluff in a game like this, but there certainly is a reason to value bet. Raise out of seat 3 with pocket aces, a couple of black ones there.
3 players.
And seat 9 and seat 1 is going to call this. Flop is 8-7-6, couple of clubs. Doesn't hit anybody at all. Jeff's still good with his aces. He also has the ace of clubs just in case it comes out runner. Turns a 3 of hearts. And amazing, I mean, Jose is still in there with ace 4. And I think Jose is going to let this one go now. Ace 4, he's got no pair, no draw. Ben has still got a gut shot. If a 9 were to come out, he would get his have a straight.
Well, that's not usually the type of flop you're looking for when you have pocket aces, but he's just got to dodge a 9, and a jack comes here on the river.
And you know what? Jeff's going to keep betting it. I like the bet.
Well, any pair, that guy's shown that he'll call with any pair, Dave.
Any pair, you just missed it. When you went out of the booth for 2 seconds, Ben just paid off a guy with king high. I mean, there was a flop.
Did he show it too?
No. The flop was it was queen 9, like queen 9 rag. Okay.
Yeah.
The turn was a queen. Okay. And he had king jack of clubs. There's no clubs on the board at all.
Yep.
The river came out another blank, and Jose, for his credit, actually bet out his 9, figuring nobody had a queen, and got paid off. Ben paid him off with king high, not even ace high.
Well, ace king this time for
Ben.
For Ben, he's gonna raise. And CJ mucks ace X suited, Dave. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Usually, that's usually a common low limit mistake you see players make. And it's just gonna have a couple callers here against the ace king. King 9 deuce. Well, interesting. CJ would have had the nut flush draw.
Chips all in.
And once in a while, against a predictable player, or a player that I think I can outplay, I'll even 3-bet him in position, and then I'll try to take control of the hand.
Now, Joseph's all in here with king 10, but Ben's got the better kicker, and the river's a 5, and Ben's going to take it down with ace king. And
CJ would have gotten there, huh?
Not my day. Goodbye.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of limping in with, ace 7 suited or calling raises with that hand.
To me, if you're going to be in there with ace rag suited, I really want it to be ace wheel card suited. Gives me the slight advantage that maybe I can flop a flopper or hit a straight as well.
Yeah.
It's not much, but hey, it's a little bit. In this game, I really don't want to try to outplay anybody, though, to be honest, because the players, there's no bluffing in this game. People are paying me off.
You're right. It's just what I'm doing.
Get a raise out of first position with Jeff there. That is a raise, wow. And he raises with 10-7 suited in first position.
Oh, he's mixing it up a little bit, I guess.
6-12.
Yep.
I just don't see the value of mixing it up in this game.
I think it might be because there's some two people in dead money spots here. It looked like 2 people had posted.
Okay.
That's what it seemed like, but that's one explanation for it.
3 players.
3-way action here. Oh, he's picked up a diamond draw, but Greg's got a higher diamond draw.
Right.
Jeff is
Now,
going to bet.
Ben's only got 7 high, so he should get rid of this pretty quickly. He
Greg
does.
calls. Oh, turns a diamond. Jeff's going to bet. And let's see if Greg raises here.
And Greg's been pretty straightforward. If he raises, it's just tough to put him on diamonds when you've got diamonds.
Yeah, but you've just got to call here. This is a check call. Yeah. And that's what he does. He checks.
Okay. 2 players. He checks you, sir.
Greg's going to bet. And Jeff is going to call.
Really?
Queen flush. Queen high flush is good there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's the player. I mean, sometimes in our game, to be honest with you, if somebody raises me on a turn there, I'll put him on 2 pair and I'll re-raise him.
No, but if I saw a guy like seat 5 raise me on the turn, I would have shut down there too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, obviously, you can say, well, why don't you lay it down, though? You could have a smaller flush also.
Yeah.
Could have 2 pair.
more losses. Yeah, right. Oh, the way you play. One-hand player?
New player coming into seat 8. It's Dimitri.
What you were thinking, you raised that.
Joking. Joking.
And Dimitri's going to come in for 500 in green.
I gotta give you something.
And Dimitri is a professional poker player. Rare that you see him down at this level. He's actually more of a mixed games expert. I mean,
High-low split player.
he's really one of the best Omaha players, one of the best in terms of like Omaha, stud high-low, deuce to 7. He's really a great player at those kind of games. His limit game, his limit hold'em game, I'm not quite sure. Be interesting to see how he plays.
Now we had a bet here by Dennis.
2 of you.
And Jose called with ace-8 of diamonds. Turn is another 6, and now Dennis probably really knows he's good, right?
Yeah, you imagine.
He's going to bet, and looks, is Jose going to call him down with ace-high here? No. Well, let's see. Actually, it's funny, you know, sometimes when Dimitri says, you know, he plays a lot of higher-level mixed games, he always tells me that he doesn't like limit hold'em in the mix. And if it is in the mix, you know, he sometimes will take that smoke break at that time.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely, he'll admit it, it's definitely his weakest game. And like I said, he's a professional poker player, and he makes a lot of money playing those mixed games. I'm just curious how his limit game is. We'll see. I used to actually play, when I first started working here, we had a 10-20 mixed game. That was really interesting. Sometimes we'd even make it like a dealer's choice. And we'd play some really fun games like Padugi and, you know, Omaha High and Omaha Low and all sorts of games. And we used to play a lot of games with each other.
Oh, we get a couple of big hands here. Pocket kings for seat 7. Pocket 9s for Jose in seat 9. Let's see if he 3-bets.
Ace King in seat 1. Wow.
No, pocket 9s is just going to call. Let's see what ace king does over here in seat 1. He just calls as well.
Wow. Now, it's not suited, so.
But still, I
Sometimes I like to
take
3-bet it and get the blinds out.
Take control of the hand. Yeah. Queen 6-5. Kings are still good with an overpair here.
A nice flop for Kings there.
Again, let's see how Jose is going to play this with just one overcard. He's just going to call.
Well, that's pretty much the way this game's been played, right?
Yeah.
Not much aggression.
4 players.
Hard to put anybody on a
Everyone
hand.
calls. Turns a 7.
Greg still never 3s, huh?
So Jose and Greg both have a gut shot now.
And I got to tell you, if Dennis is betting, I put him on minimum a queen.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Jose calls, like, you know, and now Ben's out of there. And it looked like pocket 3's left as well. And while the ace comes on the river, Ben would have made it. And
What,
now
Ben folded ace king?
yeah, and Dennis checks.
Wow.
And Jose checks. Kings are good.
I got to tell you, I'm shocked Ben threw away ace king there.
Yeah, me too. Maybe he just figured that he was playing the player there.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it was actually a good laydown. and he got lucky.
Making a
Well, it was a
late
good
night
laydown.
comeback, man.
Yeah.
Here we go, 4th quarter.
No, it's started the 3rd right now.
You go to 9, right?
Huh?
Don't we go to 9?
Yeah.
Oh, start of the 4th. Oh, right.
Yeah.
What time is it? Hey, do you play up at Commerce?
Used to.
The 15:30 game?
I used to.
Okay, yeah, that's where I've seen you. Used to, don't
I don't go back there anymore.
Button's going to move over here at seat 3.
Yep, seat 3, there's Jeff Klein.
Coming home from
2
there.
plus 2.
And so that's made you superstitious?
Where were you?
On the
A
freeway.
couple people sitting out of this hand right now. So we're actually playing, I want to say, 8-handed.
I
No, 7-handed.
been back there since February.
A little shorter.
No, just driving on that.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of limping in this game, Dave.
Yeah.
Limp.
And,
Limp passive.
fuck those 30.
Now, I got to tell you, in a game that's so passive, now some people will argue with me and say, oh, no, you got to play tight, you got to play tight. But if a game is this passive, I don't mind seeing more flops in position.
February when it was raining for like
You know, with some questionable holdings, some hands that I would not normally play in a tough game.
in that.
Well, Jose is flop top pair here with ace 3. He bets, and Ben calls with bottom pair. And seat 5 calls the second pair, turns a jack, 3rd heart. No one has a heart in their hand.
Hit the shoulder. So
Let's see if Jose is going to bet again here with ace 3. Kind of a scary board for ace 3. And these guys are out.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, if I'm in position and I've got something that in a tough game, I'll give you an example. In a good, tough, aggressive game, Queen 10 is, going into the muck almost every single time for me. I hate that hand. But in a game like this, if I'm in late position, I definitely, I think I want to see a flop with that because I can see it so cheap.
Right.
Because nobody's raising.
said that they feared for their
And I
lives.
know if I hit top pair,
Oh, they caught him?
there's a good chance I'm going to get paid off the entire way.
All the way down.
Right. So there are some nice
Like,
implied odds in
like
this
the
game.
license plates there at the scene, and they take it out.
C2's got ace jack suited there. You put a couple limpers. I think I might have raised it up, but he just decides to call.
Yeah.
He's in the, I think he was in the cutoff -1.
Yeah, hand with ace jack suited. I mean,
Yeah.
you've got positive expected value there. Why not get more money in the pot?
9-7-4.
Ben's got yeah.
top pair, and Ben bets. And now Michael's going to. I mean, we see this a lot, Dave. That they play a big hand pre-flop
If they-
slow, and then they miss it, and they continue on with the hand.
And you're bluffing a guy that you can't bluff.
And I believe that Ben is check called here, and the river's a 7, and of course Ben's not going to go anywhere.
Ben checks.
Check, check. I mean, we see it a lot in the no-limit games, Dave, where someone might just limp in with ace-king. You know, you've got 5 or 6-way action in an unraised pot, and the flop comes, you know, deuce, 3, 8. Somebody bets, and now I raise with ace-king.
Right.
Get rid of it. If you played it that way, get rid of it. It's almost the same thing that applies there. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
I mean, if he had raised pre-flop, you know, and you're playing against a player that you think you might be able to bluff off the hand, you can raise the flop, get a free card, or try to represent an overpair.
Right.
But Ben's not going anywhere.
Pot is once again limped around. We're going to see Dimitri play the first hand.
Pocket sevens one.
Yep. King 4-4.
Now, Greg in seat 5 actually has the only king. And nobody has a 4.
Now look at this. Jose bets with ace-9. Greg's just going to call. Or excuse me, that was Michael that just called.
And
with the
Dimitri
diamond draw.
called.
And the diamonds get there. So Michael called C2 with the diamond draw. He made it.
What is Dimitri in there with?
Pocket sevens. Huh?
With all those callers? And I assume he's going to throw it away now.
And now, I believe that Michael has let out with the flush. And Greg again calls with king 3. Needs to get a king here and doesn't come. There's a jack. Wow, and Michael checked the river, Dave. I think that's a value bet that's missed.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I think the guy's checking a full house king.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was in early position, but still, I would still
that
bet
last
that.
one, what, Greg needed a king or a 4, obviously.
Yeah,
Given
absolutely.
Now, it's interesting that Dimitri took one off on the flop. He actually had the 7 of hearts and a black 7. So, first of all, he didn't have the odds to even go for a 2-outer. But it's one of those, you know, reverse implied odds where even if he hit a 7 of diamonds, it would not. Actually, no, it would have been good. I'm sorry, because the board was paired.
Right.
4-4.
But I was surprised that maybe he didn't lead out right on the flop.
Right, and then when you get a bet and 2 callers,
Right.
to still call with your pair of 7s. Because what can you beat? You can't beat a king and you can't beat a 4. Well, he's going to raise here in the small blind with pocket jacks. That's Dimitri there.
Couple of 3 guys.
Yeah, a couple of friends. Oh, she got this, he got that. The market is located on the left side of the dealer.
We got, looks like 5-way action here. And it was raised here by seat 7
You're
pre-flop.
not even scared I won the last
That's not a bad flop. I mean, sometimes people get scared. They go, oh, no, 2 kings now, not even 1.
And actually, it was Dimitri that raised it.
Yeah, he raised out of the small blind.
Yeah. And he bets here with the pocket jacks. And his hand is good. No one has a king.
time.
Like I said, a lot of inexperienced players will look at that flop and go, oh, man, somebody's got to have a
Your hand,
king.
tell me to fold.
That's actually a pretty good flop for you.
I need customers, as many as I can.
And look at this. Greg calls with 1 over. Or no, 1 over to Dimitri's jacks. Wow, another king. And now you really know Dimitri's good here. And he bets out again.
And the only thing I'm wondering, Dimitri kind of blindly just, I mean, he just threw his money in there with no problem, right?
Ace jack.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know about you, but it's kind of weird playing in the 6-12 game. But if I'm looking at that flop and it's king of clubs, king of spades, deuce of hearts, and a guy calls me on the flop, what am I putting on?
Well,
I mean, it's tough in this game to really put anybody on a hand, isn't it?
right.
If I had an ace, I'd have called him.
Yeah,
For sure.
right now. Leave an ace, you got it.
Ace.
And this just in, folks, Donna is going to start wearing long underwear. It's really exciting. We have all sorts of developments here happening at liveatthebike.com. Donna is our assistant on the floor. She does a wonderful job.
King Queen suited over here for seat number 7.
There she is.
And he's just going to limp. King 7. Now, CJ limped in here with Ace 9 of clubs, so an early position, Ace X.
That did Dennis not raise with King Queen of Hearts in late
No,
position?
he didn't.
Wow.
8 deuce 4 here, Rainbow.
I mean, in the cutoff seat with King Queen of Hearts, why didn't you get more money in the pot?
And seat number 3 bets in here with Ace 9 of clubs. And actually, that was Jeff that limped in with suited Ace, not CJ.
And CJ's going to raise at 7s. She thinks he's full of crap.
This is true.
And he is. And he calls with 2 overs.
Now, is Greg still in there?
Greg is still over there with top
Okay,
pair.
so that's...
Turns a 4.
And I think, CJ was trying to get any lingering small 8 out of there. But
Everyone
didn't work.
checks. Yep.
And Greg's going to take it down.
Well, that's not a bad play in an under. I mean, might raise there with pocket 7s.
Oh, I love the play.
Yeah.
I love the play. You want to get any lingering overcards out, obviously, because your
Right.
pair of 7s are very vulnerable. And she correctly thought
Right.
that Jeff might be full of crap.
And when Jeff actually makes that bet, some people might say, well, why did he call the raise? At that point now, he actually has odds to call if he thinks his overcards to the board are clean.
Right. He can take one more off.
He also has backdoor clubs.
Yeah.
7, 10,
And
suited.
No, they're only 7 times suited on that.
That's like the third time you've raised my
C3 is going to raise here with Ace, King, and Diamonds. That's
Pretty straightforward.
surfing a line eye.
And seat 1, Ed is going to call the suited connector in the small blinds.
Not the type of hand I want to take heads up.
No, not usually.
There it is.
10-10-6 here. Ben's got a gut shot.
That's good flop for Ace King, I got to be honest. I mean, paired board.
He didn't bet it, though. It went
Really?
check.
Heads
Turns
up?
Jack.
Now, Ben's picked up a open-ended straight draw, but the top end is no good. If a queen
Yeah.
comes,
And he
Jeff will be
bets
bigger.
it, and the river's a queen, and there it is. He's made the straight, but Jeff has made the nut straight. And Jeff is going to raise here on the river.
And Ben's going to pay him off.
Yep. Ace King is good.
Another time somebody raised on the river. Rarely do you see a raised bluff on the river.
Yep.
Nice luck for you. Thank you.
And he takes it down.
Surprised Jeff didn't bet the flop.
Yeah, I am too. Heads up.
No, man. I'm telling you. Surprised me.
We've got about an hour left in our show. You can catch us Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 p.m.
You can also catch us if you guys are in the UK watching this show on Sky Satellite 265, the poker channel. We're a show called the LA Poker Scene.
Yeah, we're actually on tonight. Our episode 1 was replaying today at 8 p.m. And then episode 14 was on, I want to say, at 9:30.
Well, of course, that's British time, so it'd probably be 11:30 in the morning Pacific time out
Yeah.
here. Ace 9 deuce here with a couple of hearts.
A lot of Broadway cards out there.
Turns a jack, and it looks like there isn't a queen 10 in there. So no one's open-ended here, but we got queen jack and king queen gut shot. There.
Gut shots.
Ben is bet here. He's open-ended.
2 players.
Dennis calls with queen jack, and the river's 3, and queen jack is good here. And Ben is going to bet. It's the only way that he really can win.
Yeah,
and Dennis check
Dennis
calls
is
all the
gonna
way.
call.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because you look at that, and Ben is on the button. Nobody bet the flop. So when a jack comes on the turn, do you put Ben on an ace? Wouldn't he have bet there on the button with an ace?
Well, yeah, I
on
mean,
the
if Ben,
flop?
if Ben used his position and actually bet the flop, he might have taken it away right there and then.
Well, I think he definitely would. I don't think that Dennis would have stuck around with queen jack.
It just, if you start replaying the hand in your head, you go, wait a second, the guy had an ace and he chose to check it on the button?
Right.
I don't buy that.
Did you write on a napkin and put Ty Allen on the
Once again, you can also contact us by emailing us at liveatthebike.com, or if you want to send us a private message on 2+2, I go by Friar Tuck, and Bart Hansen is Bart Hansen.
You got it. Now we got two ace kings in here, and we've got 2 queen jacks, so a lot of Broadway out here. And Dimitri's going to bring it in with ace king. Seat 9 calls with king 8 suited. Ben is in there, queen jack offsuit.
One time, see what happens.
How do you
Greg has
like?
got the ace king.
Yeah, how do you like CJ's hand? She's got 2 black 8s.
Yeah, it looks pretty good right
mean,
now.
All the jacks and kings and aces are almost dead. I mean,
7-way action.
well, there's the ace anyway.
Throw your hand away.
And king 8's got a flush draw over there in seat 9. Queen jack has got gut shots.
Yeah. Pretty easy for CJ to get away from pocket 8s, huh?
And look at this. Dennis is going to bet in as a bluff. The first time we've seen him do that, semi-bluff.
Wow.
And Dimitri raised us with ace king.
Play good, guys.
Dennis, wow, Dennis was trying to throw a little money in on a gut shot, huh?
And Jose is going to call, it looks like.
We got one more.
Got
open.
Amazing with all those players in there, too.
Yeah. Gonna call with the second, actually the nut flush draw. Or did he raise again?
Yeah, that's a little bit much.
Take 3 back.
And this is one of those times, if you're Dennis, this is if you're Jose, this is the exact time where you do not
Yeah,
want to
yeah, he 3-bet here, and it's again what you talk about when next to act. There really is no
You
reason
don't
to
want
3-bet.
to. You don't want to price out
Yeah.
Ben
But Ben's going to call anyways with Queen
Well,
Jack.
there you go.
3-bet's cold. Wow.
with a gut shot, only
Yeah.
gut shot.
And Greg's got Ace King.
But you want to keep these people in there, especially when you figure one of these players has to have an ace. You need a heart and only a heart.
And Dimitri's going to jam it here. I think he capped it on the flop. So you got one of our biggest hands of the night right now.
Yeah, this is a big
5-way
pot.
action. Going to the turn.
Now or never.
Turns another ace.
Wow, that's a case ace. Man.
And if Greg checks it, no, he's going to bet.
And this could be interesting. If Greg bets,
Dimitri's going to raise.
now Jose's caught in the middle here.
Now Ben mucked his Queen Jack.
Well,
Yeah. Jose calls. And now finally seat 1. Excuse me. And now Ben is mucked and the other Queen Jack is mucked.
yeah, and Jose is kind of caught in the middle of this one, huh?
Yeah, well, he's got the nut flush draw. And the river's a heart, and he makes it.
Wow. It's a scary heart, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Can you even raise that?
Well, if it gets checked to him, he's going to bet.
Of course.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if somebody bets into you, can you even raise it?
Now, wait a minute. Now, look at this. Is Dimitri not going to overcall with Ace-King? Now, Greg has called, and Dimitri's asked for time. And he's looking at Ace-King, and he's got to fold it. Look at that, Dave.
Good laydown.
Yeah. He folds the trip aces. I mean, you figure somebody's got to have a flush, right?
Well, it's one of those things where you look at it and you go, you know
Or a
what?
straight. He can't be a straight either, King Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to, you don't want to be a hero and make big laydowns and limit hold'em. That's not usually the way to go. But hey, in that case, it was pretty obvious somebody had to have hearts.
Right.
Or, I mean, flush is a minimum, I'd say, with all that action. That was a huge pot. I mean, if you work it out, that was 3-bet before the flop, okay? And it was capped on the flop and then raised on the turn.
Yep.
This is a 6-12 game. I mean, we're talking that was probably a $250 pot.
$200 to $300, yeah. It's a big pot.
Real nice.
Yeah.
Oh, too many chips. Gonna get them all.
That's all right.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, my friend was getting low on chips, so I'm thinking, okay, why not raise it?
I don't know how to play. I'm playing it crazy.
Raise it up a little bit.
Everybody limps here.
6th player.
6-way action. Ace Jack. Queen with a couple of hearts. And again, we got an ace deuce over there on the button there by Jeff. And Vicky is going to bet here with Queen 9.
Second pair.
Let's see how ace deuce plays it here, Dave. Do you want to even get involved here with this flop? A bet and a bunch of callers. Well, he does call. See if he can see a free card here. Turns a 4.
To be honest, I probably
again.
would have raised the flop.
Really?
So take control. Yeah, I want to raise it because I don't want everybody. I don't want to have to. So now what do I do? I want to see where I'm at.
I think I might have folded the flop.
Well,
I
either
gotta be
fold it
honest
or
with you.
raise it. I don't like calling. I'd rather raise it right there, see where I'm at. Because now I'm in. I mean, his hand's actually good.
River's a 7.
Hey, Dad.
And Vicky just bet the whole way with Queen 9.
Yeah. And I think Jeff was going to call. If Jeff actually called the turn.
Well, now he's going to have to overcall with ace deuce, and he does though. He does anyways.
Yeah, and the problem is that Ben calls with anything. So
Yeah, you
you
can't really
him
give a lot of credit to that. I don't know. I mean, I got to tell you,
Hey, Jeff made more money in that pot than I would have. Because to be honest with you, I raised the flop, or I folded, but I raised the flop.
how about what we talk about sometimes is that if he's going to call it on the flop there with ace deuce, if he just calls, okay?
Right.
How about raising the turn and then checking the river for a free showdown? Is that a way that you can play it too?
Can.
With a bunch of draws out there, anybody calling with a gut shot Broadway draw, anybody calling with a heart draw, you make them pay for your draw, and then at the end, when everything misses, you check at
Right,
the end
right.
because you're not going to get paid off necessarily.
You could do that. Or,
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to play it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent. I might have raised the flop, and then if everybody checks to me on the turn, I can choose. Then I can look at it and go, okay, do I want to take the free card and induce a bluff on the river, or do I want to bet it there? And I can-
All right.
Well, Vicky's picked up pocket kings, and she's going to 3-bet here.
The partnership, one bet, another raise.
Did she pull the limp re-raise here and limit? Where's the button here?
Slowly, okay? Slowly.
Actually, I
Yes.
think she's in the big blind.
Yeah.
So she's raised out of the big blind. And Jose has capped it with ace queen off.
Well, that usually represents if somebody's raising 3-bet out of the blinds.
Yeah.
Usually represents a lot of strength.
How about a guy in the field who caps it?
Not anymore, but
Well, he's picked up top here, and he can get into a lot of trouble here.
Yeah.
1 week supply.
See how Vicky plays it. She's going to bet.
And I imagine Jose is going to raise this, and it's not a bad play at all.
Still another
And he does,
raise.
and I'd imagine, I mean, if you're Vicky here, since you're out of position, I almost 3-bet this. 3-bet it and then bet the turn.
Well, you might give the guy credit for aces? The turn's a 5.
No, I don't.
Really?
In limit hold'em, I don't give credit for aces. If I have kings, I'm gonna jam it.
Well, she's just going to check call. Looks like she is shut down here. And the river's a deuce.
Go ahead. You got aces?
Right, she said you got
Yeah,
aces.
yeah.
I just think that's, I mean, what, you're going to automatically assume this guy's got aces?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, I know you can't beat queens either. You can't beat aces or queens,
Yeah.
but...
Well, that's the thing, because you look back at any rational player, and again, a person's usually not going to cap it with ace queen off, but they will cap it with queens. They will cap it with kings, and they will cap it with aces. Now, I can't beat aces. The chances you got kings are
Right.
probably pretty small because I have kings, and I can't beat queens. So that's why I don't necessarily have a huge problem with the way that she plays. I'm not saying I'm giving her credit for thinking that way through. Sometimes we say these things, and I don't think that a lot of the players are going through our thought process.
Right.
Dave,
I mean,
in the
you've
end.
seen me play. I mean, you've actually played with me in a 20 and a 30 game. You've seen me lay down kings
Right.
on the turn.
Right.
When I played against somebody that I knew, and I just knew he had aces.
Headed, you gotta see a doctor.
And there are times to do it. I don't know, just from what I've been watching in this game, it seems like people are playing hands more aggressive than they should when they're, you know what I mean? It just doesn't seem like I'm going to give somebody credit for aces right away.
Jack deuce jack here. I think this pot was raised pre-flop by was it Ben? Yeah, ace 9. Vicky has the same hand, and she's going to call that flop. Ace 9 offsuit.
Go ahead,
Turn
darling.
is a 4.
Does Ben continue betting?
He
It does.
Does Vicky continue calling?
Really, darling.
She does.
The river's an 8.
Ace high.
No, chop
All right,
this one
it's
up.
just chopped up here. Obviously, they both have a pair of jacks.
Yep.
Ace, 9, 8.
Beautiful hand, sir. Thank you.
But yeah, obviously, I guess the more I think about that hand, since Jose did cap it pre-flop, and now you look at it and go, wow, she can't beat aces, she can't beat queens. Okay.
There it is, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 Pacific time.
What's up with the tiger in the background? Is that like rawr?
Well, our play for free site on thebike.com is sponsored by Tiger Gaming.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Okay, you got something?
Excuse
you
me,
give twice,
I'm
okay?
sorry, it's sponsored by
Yeah, when you flop a set.
Action Gaming. I really dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know we're going to be hiring new commentators. This is Bart's last night. Thank you all. So please email us at live@thebike.com.
You know, I like to move razors a lot.
I like that.
Like this, no money in my hand. Proceed with the flop, please.
You can actually play for free by going to thebike.com, Dave.
Really?
We have 3 weekly free rolls. Yeah, it's a play for free site.
And we give away money?
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
553 here. Turn is an 8. And we're going to start at some point doing some live at the bike viewer free rolls on the play for free site. We're
Now,
still
Dennis
working
has
out
got
the
the
bugs.
ace of spades, and he's got a wheel draw. And he's going to bet. Actually, he's going to call. I'm sorry.
River's another 8.
And that actually kills Dimitri's hand.
But he's going to bet it, though.
That completely kills Dimitri's hand.
He's going to bet it.
And Dennis is going to pay him off.
And look at this. Dimitri says 2 pair, which sometimes works.
Oh.
But it's not going to work this time, Dave. I know that you've done that in the past, too. When a double-paired board, you've got yourself counterfeit. Just flip over 2 pair, and you hope that the guy mucks his hand.
Well, I mean, it is 2 pair.
Right,
He
right.
has 8s, and obviously in that case, Dimitri's 3 does not play because Dimitri, obviously, your best 5 cards. So Dimitri has 8s and 5s with a jack kicker,
Right.
while the other player has 8s and 5s with an ace kicker.
Yeah. Button's going to move over here to seat 7. That's Dennis.
So do you play on the Bike's free website?
I do.
Bike.com? Yeah? Have you learned a lot playing for free?
I think it's, kind of fun.
Yeah?
Yeah. Looks like a pot was it?
I got to be
around
honest. I, for one, I don't like to play for free.
there? Really?
Yeah.
What a party pooper. Ace 10 deuce here, a couple spades.
I'm an action freak. I need the money flowing through me.
Michael bet here with ace 8. I get called in a few spots. Dennis called with pocket fours there, Dave. I don't know really what he's trying to hit.
Well, this is another case where, okay, even if you think you might have the odds to go for it with pocket fours,
Yeah.
you don't because...
And there it is.
Oh, wow. I was going to say, because you don't even know if the 4 spades is a clean out.
Right.
Because if the guy is betting a flush draw, well, then you're dead. And look at this. He catches the 4 clubs, which is really the only safe card. But it's not even that safe. The 3 is a straight.
And did Michael make the call there with ace 8? Yeah, he did.
And I got to be honest, if Dennis raises me on
Yeah.
the river...
No
If I-
way that a single ace rag is good there.
Right,
now.
exactly.
You can
I'm
safely
not-
lay that hand down.
I'm not calling with anything except
Yeah.
a piece of straight.
But again, one of the biggest mistakes I see people that start playing limit hold'em is that you almost, and I'm talking about, I've only seen it maybe once or twice in the whole history of limit playing. As we take a look at another chip count here, and I'm going to continue on with what I'm saying. You almost never, and I'm talking about 99.99% of the time, ever have odds to hit a set on the turn if you don't think your hand is good on the flop.
Right.
Because you are drawing one, you have 2 outs, right? And you've seen 47, or you've seen 5 cards in the deck. So you basically have 2 out of 47 cards.
Right.
Right?
So you have to make it with the implied odds and what's in the pot. you
23
literally-
to 24 to 1 on that single bet.
Right.
Right. And that would have to be a huge pot. I'm talking 7 or 8 way capped.
Yeah, it has to be a huge pot, and then
Yeah.
you have to also say that, well, if I hit my hand,
Right.
I'm going to get huge. I'm going to get huge implied odds.
Right.
But then you got to remember also, your opponent might have redraws against you.
Look at this. Ben chased it all the way to the river. Well, he had an open-ended straight draw and he made it. And Greg kept betting. Greg had top 2 pair, and he kept betting, and he got sucked out.
Yeah. Well, you can't blame Ben there. I mean, he's got open-ended straight
Yeah.
draw. He's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
And even worse so when you see a 2 flush on the board and then you see somebody going for it anyway and you go,
Oh.
wow, I mean, you've got such bad odds already to hit your set.
Right.
And now you don't even know if one of the cards is good.
Right. That's when we talk about, we get into that reversed implied odds thing where you can actually lose.
Yeah.
You have implied odds to lose a ton of money if you hit your hand.
And there's also a case where, there are some times where, I'll call with a hand in position, not necessarily to hit my set, but also sometimes to see what my opponent will do on the turn.
Right.
Because I'm not 100% sure that my opponent has me beat. Let's say I have pocket 10s, right? And the flop comes out king, jack, blank, but there are a couple of spades out there, a couple of hearts, and my opponent is just as likely to bet a draw as they are to bet a king or a jack.
Now, a couple people have second pair here. It got checked around. No one has a 9 or an ace. Boy, what a scary board here for everyone. The river's an ace, and the straight's going to play on board. Chop this one up 4 ways. Does someone bet here and take a stab at it, Dave?
No.
I mean, is there a hand? The nuts is on the board, right?
Yeah,
There
I
is-
bet it for fun.
There is nothing that can beat what's on the board. Might you get one person who doesn't understand that to fold the hand?
You
There's
might.
no flush out there. So the absolute nuts is on the board. How often do you see that, where the nuts is on
Yeah.
the board? I mean, is that one of the only... Is that the only case where the nuts can really be on the board?
No, you can have quads with an ace.
I guess you could have quads with an ace, you're right.
Right, which
Yeah.
we almost had before, with
Yeah.
3 queens, ace.
But that's
ace.
about it, right? An ace high straight and quads with an ace. It's a little
Yeah.
interesting thing.
I mean, earlier we had three
Yeah.
queens, ace, ace, which obviously is not the nuts. Somebody
Right.
could have pocket aces. Somebody
Right.
could have
Right.
any ace, actually.
Exactly. But an ace high straight without 3 suit on the board would be definitely the nuts on that.
Yeah.
board. And we got 4-way action here. Queen 6-3 with a couple of diamonds. Jeff's got ace queen.
Pretty predictable. He's going to raise it up. Nice play. Very straightforward.
Bet and a raise.
Couple of diamonds out there. And he's going to probably get Michael to call anyway as
Yeah.
the top pair.
Turn is a king, and now he's got the nut diamond draw.
Yeah,
as
Michael's
well.
in bad shape here. Michael needs a 9 that's not a diamond.
That's right. And the river's a king.
And I'd like to see...
Yeah, he is gonna bet it.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, if the guy let out with top pair.
Well, you assume the guy's got a queen. You know?
And that's another case where the pot, it wasn't necessarily that big. So, I mean, I don't mind the raise at all there. By Jeff. And I got to be honest with you,
On the
I
flop?
only play that hand that I was talking about when I don't raise with an overpair or top pair with a good kicker. when next to act. Very, very rarely. It has to be an exclusive situation. Usually raising with overpairs, raising with top pairs, good solid poker.
Yeah, and a game like this where people are going to call anyway,
Right.
I want it. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
going to charge them as much as possible.
Right.
Like I said, I mean, 9 out of 10 times, I'm playing the game as straightforward as possible,
Right.
especially at this level. You know? If somebody's astute enough to go, wait a second, when Dave bets, he's probably got it. I'm not going to pay him off. Okay, fine, that's one player out of 9. It's not going to pay
Look
me
at this
off.
four-way action limped around. C2 did not raise on the button with ace-king.
But he raises now.
The flop comes ace-queen-5, so he's got top pair. Dennis bet in with a flush draw, and he's going to call. Turn is a 5.
Go ahead.
Michael bets
And
here.
the river's a 9.
Wait a minute. Did Michael not bet there on the turn?
Show me a 5 or a club.
Okay.
And we got a bet here and a call.
Yeah, Michael took a free card on the turn.
Yeah.
He was scared of the 5.
Wow.
He said, "Oh, you going to show me a 5 or a club?"
Yeah, but why not bet the turn though? It doesn't make. I mean,
He said he was scared of the 5. I don't.
Huh.
Come on, buddy. I mean, you cannot play poker scared. You can't play scared poker.
Yeah.
If you're scared of getting check raised, don't play. You know, you can't give people free cards to beat you.
From the ring, you're gonna win. You have a chance now.
Good thing I didn't bet the turn. I'd have lost more.
button here is in seat 3. Pocket jacks here in seat 6.
And I got to agree with SB Surf and Michael on 2+2. He says this is typical 6-12, 8-16 play here. And it looks like it pretty much is. And the play is not necessarily any better at 2040. It's a little different.
Well, here's another great example here. Vicky limped in with pocket jacks, Dave. 2 black jacks she limped in seat 6. The flop came king, queen, 3, all hearts, and she bets in here. Give it up, right?
Right.
Give it up. Are you kidding me?
She actually still has the best hand.
And somebody raised, I think it was Dennis, and she called. Turn is a 7.
She still has the best hands.
And the river's a 7.
Wow, and her jacks are going to hold up.
And now she's going to bet. I mean, she ends up having the best hand there, Dave, but that's not the type of flop I want to bet into against 7 people in an unraised pot.
And this is, I got to be honest, this is one of the few times where, do I really want to bet the river?
Yeah.
What can I beat?
Right.
Although, Ben has been paying off with ace high.
Well, you
so-
might get like a tricky guy like Dimitri to bet a busted flush draw as well because he thinks that you might be on a busted flush draw.
Right. Maybe a deuce of bluff.
Deuce a bluff and call.
And the only thing I can say that differently from this game and from the 8-16 game, the 2040 game, 2040 game obviously changes on a daily basis, but it tends to be a little bit more aggressive in this game. And instead of having 4 or 5, it seems like each flop is almost 4 or 5 handed. Instead of quite being that loose, 2040 maybe take it away 1 player or even 2 players. So maybe each flop is like 3 handed.
Yeah. And
4 players.
4-way action here. Queen Jack 4.
Sure?
This is everybody.
Was it? Okay, I'm sorry.
Ed's got a pair. Ben's got a pair of
You know
4s.
what? This $2 would complete my 3.4
Now he's got 2 pair.
Check.
And he's going to bet. King 4.
For $1 million, I might suspect you, but
I'm
not for
sorry.
$2.
Takes it down.
And are we having that? I think we're having that gentleman Shant come into the game.
Oh, really? Wow. That's great.
Take a rack back if you don't mind, please.
I think his name is Rich, if I'm correct. Is that Shant, Donna? Maybe you can ask him.
Planza, please. Planza.
Oh, it's not. No, he's not. Sorry.
Okay.
Shant is here. Is he? Shant. Yeah.
And I
well,
guess it's the fellow behind the man with the blue shirt, and that's Shant.
Okay. He's.
All right.
Bye, G.
Well, hey, I got to respect anybody that actually posts on 2+2
Right.
and then is willing to, put their money where their mouth is and then come out and show everybody how they play. Hey, I got to respect that.
Jack deuce 8 here. A couple people have top pair.
Okay, good. 6 hold him up.
Now, Jeff's got the ace of clubs, backdoor flush draw. Might this be a shot where you take one off? What I'm always scared of, though, is if somebody has ace 8, ace deuce, You know, when you hit your ace, you don't even know if it's good.
Michael's open-ended, he calls. Turns a 9.
Well, now Michael's got a pair of 9s, too.
Go ahead.
But that gives another club out there. Jeff's now got a big draw. An ace, a king, or a club will give Jeff the hand.
And somebody's all in here. I think it's seat 5 there, top pair. And the river's a 10.
Any queen would be a straight, but...
And it looks like...
Well, somebody had 9-10. Yeah, there you go, Michael.
Yeah, Michael's got the 9-10. He's going to take it down.
He was open-ended, and he kind of backdoored into 2-pair, which was good.
Yeah. So I think seat 5 is going to get up as well, so we might get that 2+2 in here, Dave.
Oh, there you go. Great. Fabulous. We say goodbye to Greg and say hello to a couple new players. Hey, I was having an interesting conversation with Joe Wynn, not Action Joe Wynn, but Joe Wynn, the older guy who actually won the World Series poker bracelet in 2000, which is high-low. And we were talking about a good game in California because he was sitting in a game and he goes, I go, oh, is the game good? He goes, California, all the games are good. And truth be told, the more I play in California, the more I notice that, yes, most of the games here are very good.
Ben is bet here with Queen 10. He's got top pair. Vicky's going to call with Ace 5, and Richard gets out of there with 10-5. The turn's a king. Pot would have been chopped up. Ben's going to bet again. Third club. He's got the second nut flush draw, and he's going to take it down. Well, you know, it's funny because I actually had some people that tell me that the games in Vegas are sometimes better than the games here at the bike. That sometimes the bike is the best level of play that they've seen. So
really? Wow. Okay. I mean, I will say, hey, when I was during the World Series, when the tourism was huge and there were so many people that were playing poker, the games were great there. But I think on an everyday basis, I mean, I don't think there's any better poker in the world than in Los Angeles. You know, on a day in, day out basis.
That's why I moved here.
Oh, man.
So there he is, seat 5, Shant. He's going to post in between, or post up. And he raised here, Dave. We can't see what he has. He's got to show us his cards in seat 5.
3 player.
You got to put your cards on the spot.
Right. Well, he's got King
Shouldn't
Jack.
you know that?
King Jack offsuit in late position.
Yeah, and Vicky called with a weak ace.
Well, you know, that's the exact hand he's trying to get out. I mean, he's trying to buy himself the button. It's a nice play.
And Michael called with a weak ace, and he bets, and she raises. Now, if he's been watching the show earlier today,
Re-raise.
and look at this. Well, Michael's going to re-raise,
Well,
and I'm sure Shant is going to get out now.
pretty easy there. I hope we have the spelling right for Shant.
And Michael actually got the gut shot out of there because King Jack was in there.
Well, now Michael's hand has got even bigger. He's got a flush draw as well.
Yeah.
You know, Vicky needs a 6 and only a 6 to win this pot.
River.
Now, if a 7 or a 4 were to come, she would chop it up.
Yep. And the river's a heart, and he makes a backdoor nut flush. And he's going to bet again, of course. And she's going to call him all the way.
She pays the whole way with ace 6.
Oh, not flush. That was a bad river card?
No, I was meaning for you. I wasn't saying.
Well, actually, the river card was inconsequential. Any deuce would have won it for you, Michael.
That's not what I meant. I didn't mean. You know what I meant. I didn't mean to be.
Thank you.
She's ignoring him. I love
it. He's trying to explain himself, and she just doesn't want to hear it.
Right.
And talk to the hand, because I don't want to hear it. Button is in seat 8. That's Richard, our new player. Got about 30 minutes left in our webcast.
20 minutes to be
20?
precise.
Okay. Thank you. I thought maybe you wanted to do a little overtime tonight.
Oh, I love being in here.
I know Isaac and Evelyn wanted to.
So Shanti's got ace queen.
Ace queen. He's going to raise. Pretty straightforward.
Mid position. Here's my least favorite hand in the world, ace 10, a cold call with ace 10 offsuit. If I'm going to play that hand against a late position raiser, I'm going to 3-bet it. And Ben's in there with 9-5. And Ben catches top pair.
And to be honest with you, the reason for 3-betting that with Dennis is he's in position, right? And if he 3-bets it, he gets Ben out, and he can take control of the hand, because now that Shant has missed.
Look at this. Shant's going to continue to fire pretty aggressive. And Ben's going to call all the way there with the 9. The river's a 3. Let's see if... I think that Shant's going to shut down. Yeah, he checks it down. We know that Ben will call with any pair.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't mind the way Shant's played the hand, though, because he'll also call with any draw.
Right.
Actually, not even a draw. I mean,
No, I don't mind the check on the river at all.
No, I mean the bet on the turn, though.
Yeah.
Because Ben checking and calling doesn't necessarily mean he has anything.
Glendale?
Yeah, it's a local Glendale gang.
Wow.
I love Russ McGinley's poster on 2+2. When Michael actually got sucked out on the river there at the club draw, he said, well, I'm glad I didn't bet anymore. I would have just lost more.
They actually bought it to us. My girlfriend's mowing.
Kind of,
What's the best steak? I'm like, yeah, it's steak. I'm hungover.
Rationalizing why he didn't bet the turn.
The guy comes up and goes, I gotta apologize. How was your meat? Oh, great. Well, don't expect it again. It's Kobe beef. We accidentally.
So, of course, the dealers check the cards here because each setup is hand-organized, Dave.
Yeah.
Supposed to
I
be
think the
best,
cards are reused a finite of times and then they're shredded.
Japan.
We must have one heck of a shredder here.
You or me and Kobe Bryant on the stage.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
Again, we're playing 6-12 limit hold'em. The green chips are $2 chips. It's a 3-6 chip structure. 1 and 3 in the blinds. And the blue chips are $1 chips.
Wayne, did I get you?
I'm always really curious when I find a player that plays in this game, but also plays 30, 60, or higher games. And you wonder if they play differently. Like Vicky, obviously.
Well, a lot of times, these types of games will have like a bigger jackpot promotion, depending on the time of year. So you do suspect playing the game kind of just for the jackpot, quote unquote.
Or we had that $100,000 jackpot for this game for a while,
right.
the 6 and the 8 game.
Right. And I think for the first time we see a chop pot.
No
through the
way.
blinds. Now in this game, like I said, because we're ambassadors of the Bicycle Casino, Dave and I usually chop in our higher limit games just to, because, we kind of have like a PR job. But if I'm on my own, I don't chop in a limit game. Boy, could you look any less interested?
I'm sorry. What you say? I was actually looking at the TV. See, people don't realize we have a TV right here where I can see all the cards, and I was actually looking at that. I can hear you, and I can still look at this. Don't take it personal. Man, I tell you, you're like Yana. Okay, go ahead. Say your story again.
But at this level, I think it actually makes sense to chop. When you're taking 4+1 off of a 6-12 game, that's a big percentage.
Well, you think about it. I mean, you're only in there for what? Let's see, you're in there for $2 a small blind. The big blind's in there for $6.
Right. So if you complete, that's $12. They're taking almost 50% of that. They take 5/12 of the money if you complete it there.
And the implied odds obviously are not as high as in no limit.
Right.
I mean, some people will make that argument in no limit too when it's a smaller buy in the 3 to 5 game where the blinds are only 5/5. They go, why don't you chop? And in the end, it's I want to get your entire stack.
Right. But in this game, I think it is definitely proper to chop. Now, Jeff is going to lead here with a pair. He's got a pair of 6s. Dennis calls. He's going to peel for overcards. Turns a 3.
Another time where I don't always like to go for overcards if I have ace-king, one of the reasons being...
Dennis calls again.
I don't know if maybe my opponent's on a spade draw, and I don't have... So the ace of spades and the king of spades are not clean outs.
And the river's a 5. Jeff checks, and Dennis checks behind him. Well, also, you could figure that the guy might have something like... Well, he's betting out of the blind, so he could have any 2 cards. But he also, he might, if he was in the field, be betting with an ace-6 or an ace-9. Actually, if you're going to peel with overcards, you almost want to do it more with king-queen. Because if you're peeling with ace-king, if your ace comes, you never really know if it's good.
Right.
Because someone could easily have 2 pair if it comes up.
I actually think it's one of the other big errors that people play in limit hold'em, or no limit too, but limit hold'em especially, is peeling off with overcards. Because a lot of people go, well, the odds are there, but you don't know if you're good. That's the problem. Plus your opponent has redraws, and you might end up losing a big pot, like you said. You hit your ace, somebody else makes 2 pair.
Button's going to move over here to see.
Hey, anybody know what's going on in the Dallas-Philly game? On a Monday Night Football? And wow, I'm getting word that Philly is up 20-7.
Why do you have to ruin it for everyone out there, man?
Wow. What do you mean ruin it for everybody? They're going to hear it 5 minutes after it's already known.
Pot is
you didn't Tebow this game, did you?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Although there is another Monday night game involving the Patriots. I think it's the Patriots against the Jets, actually.
Oh, God. You want to know ugly? How about this one? Next week, or not next week, or the week after, the Jets and the New Orleans Saints on a Sunday night game.
Yeah, but the Sunday night games were never. When they always had bad teams on Sunday
Oh,
night games.
come
the Monday
on.
night games were
Chance
always.
New Orleans?
Usually on Monday nights they don't put teams that have less than a 500 record the year before on the show.
Right. Well, I mean, you get the Super Bowl winner, and then the Jets actually won a playoff game last year, so they thought it would be a big rivalry.
Well, you know,
game.
the funny thing is, the matchups in the AFC were so bad on Sunday that the Patriots Dolphins still had the number one commentating team.
Oh.
They still had I want to say Sims and Nance.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I couldn't even. I mean, it's rare that I don't watch football on a Sunday.
Yeah.
But I actually got up and went out and did something in the morning and came back for the Seattle-St. Louis game because I kind of like Seattle.
Yeah.
They're at least an entertaining team.
Now we got a raise here with King Queen off suit, and Vicky's gonna call in the blind with 7-8 suited.
Now, this is one of those times if Vicky wants to get tricky, she can represent the ace.
But she's just gonna call here, Dave. No draw.
Sometimes I like to check raise there and represent the ace.
And it goes check here. River's an 8.
Give it time.
And is she going to pay him off? Now she's going to check down.
Richard just checked it down.
Yeah. I mean, too often the ace is like the ultimate scare card, right?
Right.
And if somebody raises and you smooth call, oftentimes if an ace falls, people just automatically give you credit. Oh, well, you raised, you must have the ace. But you got to understand that ace might scare your opponent also.
Yeah.
Because they could be raising with king queen. They could be raising with any pocket pair. And if they're raising with a pocket pair, the only card they don't want to see is an ace because they figure, wow, this guy just called me. He called my raise. He must have an ace. So once in a while, that gives you an opportunity to kind of mix it up and represent.
Buttons in seat 4 here.
Once again, though, if you're representing, make sure your opponent is capable of making a laydown.
Three-way action. Limped around. Ace 4-3 with a couple of clubs. No one has a club. Actually, all clubs. Too.
Yeah, Vicky's got the best hand here with a pair of threes. See if she bets it. No, she's not going to take a shot at it. But Ben now has a pair of eights. And is Dennis calling? Wow, Dennis is going to call a 3-5, red 3-5.
And the river's a 10. 9-8 is good here. Again, people that don't really watch the show, Dave, especially no limit hold'em, a flop like that, any 3-suit with an ace, it's very, very difficult for rational players to call without at least the second nut flush draw.
I love how you throw the rational in there.
The second nut flush draw, or a top pair with a good kicker, and usually with a club draw.
And to be honest, I mean, if Dennis was thinking about checking and calling a turn, if he just bets the river, or if he bets the turn, he might just win it right there and then. I mean, if you show me a calling station, you're generally going to see a losing poker player.
Get a raise here by Ben, pocket 6s. And
called by 7s.
Michael's just going to smooth call with 7s. Vicky's going to call with 4-3 of clubs in the blind, I believe.
That's a hand. Sometimes you have 7s, so you like to 3-bet that, huh?
Yeah.
Isolate against the player.
Yep. And Dennis calls in the big blind with 9-3 suited. And there's a set of 7s, 10-9-7. So let's see if Michael raises here. He's just going to call, Dave. Boy, look at that flop. It's pretty coordinated. And actually, you know what? Michael did raise, excuse me. And the flop came 7-9-10 with 2 hearts. We have the flop up as 7-8-9, but the flop is 7-9-10 with 2 hearts. And the turn is in 8.
Well, there's the 8. Same
and
difference.
Ben's got a straight now.
I mean, look at that. Our producer, I think she's psychic.
And the river's a 3 of diamonds.
And Ben made a straight there. What a
pocket
turn
6s made a straight. And Dennis picked up a flush draw on the turn.
And he ended up with 2 pair, 9s and 3s.
And Ben bets. And Michael's going to call. And the 2 pairs going to call.
I got 3 7s.
6s are good. Wow. What a turn card.
Yeah.
Now, I think Michael did raise the flop.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Okay.
And it was actually 7, 10, 9, and 8 on the turn.
Right.
But hey, it doesn't really make a difference.
Right.
Wow.
Figured maybe you would. If you had a jack, you would have dropped the hammer on me, man.
Again, we do manually input the cards.
Yes.
Our producer, so
Well, hey,
sometimes.
sometimes nothing. She got it right. She got it backwards.
No.
Buttons moved over here to seat 6. Got about 10 minutes left in the show. I want to thank everyone for
He's only out.
joining us, maybe for the first time. Again, my PM, my name on 2+2 Dave is Bart Hanson, B-A-R-T, H-A-N-S-O-N, and yours is Friar Tuck. So if anyone wants to PM us with questions, comments, suggestions, feel free. Four-way action here. Everyone limped, it looked like.
And Dennis has flopped trip 6s. And he's got a king of clubs, too, to back it up, just in case.
And he bets it, Dave.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that play, but you usually don't see it at this level. Jose's going to fold. And Vicky's going to take off with a gut shot.
Take
To
one
the
off. She's got
three.
position.
Turns a jack. And he's going
Yeah,
to bet
he's
again.
gonna bet again. Wow.
I'm just done.
And Dave, look at this. She's going to call him down with a gut shot. This is why you bet your trips and don't screw around. The river's a 4. And he fills up.
And her hand doesn't play at all.
Nope. She plays the board, 6s and 4s with the jack kicker.
I mean,
She
I don't
folds.
understand. She just calls twice with
Yeah.
a gut shot. I mean, if she had picked up, let's say the diamond draw came on a turn,
Yeah.
you know, and you got more outs, maybe you raise it there and represent the 6 because you think the other guy's lying.
Right.
But just a check call, I mean, not even call, not even check, just call. I don't understand the play. Button is moved to Dennis there, seat 7. So tomorrow night's show, what do we got in store for tomorrow night, you think?
Well, tomorrow night is going to be a form of restricted buy-in,
No limit.
hold'em.
Maybe like a $200 buy-in
200
or
or
a
3 to 5. And then next week, hopefully, we'll get into kind of that heads-up play.
Yeah, well, trying to see if we can get a kind of a heads-up tournament.
Because Wednesdays are, our 50, 100 no limit. Thursdays are our 5, 10 no limit. And Fridays are our 10, 20 no limit.
Right.
Now, seat 6 has got pocket aces. And actually, seat 5 raised. Seat 5 has got aces, and he raised.
And I think he got called in 4 spots.
Yeah, ace, queen. So Shant's got aces. Let's see if they stick up.
And the
They'll hold
flop
up.
is now $60, just so everybody knows. And Dennis has flopped top pair.
Yeah. Couple
Tough flop.
spades.
Tough flop for Dennis here. Let's see if Dennis raises on the button. No.
He
Wow.
just calls.
I mean, with queen 10 and 2 spades out there, I mean, how do you not raise that?
Look at Ben. Did Ben call? Excuse me. Jose called with king 10. He's picked up an open-ended straight jaw now. And this board gets more and more scarier for aces. I mean, a jack of spades, a third spade on the turn. He's going to bet again.
Yeah, and
though.
Jose's got a big draw now. He's open-ended with a spade draw. And a pair.
And he calls. So let's see if Shant can dodge these cards. He's got a lot of cards to dodge. And the river's a pretty good card, David.
Oh,
It's
is
a
that
deuce.
just perfect?
Yep. And he bets again. And it looks like aces are going to hold up. He needed to avoid a Broadway card. Well, he needed to avoid a 9.
A 9, an ace,
Yeah.
spade. A 10,
And aces are good.
and a queen.
That's right. Nothing like a red deuce at the end.
But I mean, a board like that, I mean, you got queen, 10, 5, right? 2 Broadway cards, so you got to be scared of some straights. There's 2 spades out there, so you got to be scared of a flush. And you've got ace, queen. How do you not raise on the button now?
Yeah.
I mean, it turns out he was actually correct. I mean, because he's up against aces, but how do you play it that way?
Yeah.
Man. Look at that. We got 2 2+2ers out there.
Yeah. Button's going to move over to seat 8.
Good to see a lot of new names on the 2+2 site. Hopefully, you guys can follow us because we'll be on limit nights. Obviously, it won't be in this forum, but on
Right.
other nights we'll be in the high stakes, no limit and pot limit section.
Now, we had a raise here, I believe, by seat 5 originally. He had ace king offsuit. We got a 3-bet by Vicky with pocket 8s. And it looks like we've got a few people that are going to call 3 bets here.
Wow. Ben calls 3 bets cold with queen
And you know
9.
what? Shant's going to cap it with ace king offsuit. I mean, why not when people are calling here with these types of holdings? He's going to cap it for value. And we've got 5-way action times a 4-bet.
And I got to tell you, I like to play Vicky Maid here. I mean, she's trying to isolate against overcards.
Now, King Jack 9 on the flop. It looks like Ace King is good right now. But again, he's going to have to dodge a ton of cards.
Yeah, now Michael's got a second pair with a gut shot.
Yeah.
Ben's got bottom pair with a gut shot.
Yep. Shant bets and everybody calls.
I mean, Ace King's got a...
Well, there's one of the blanks. Deuce on the turn. He's going to bet again.
Keep betting.
And again, he's going to need to dodge a jack, a 10, right?
How is she calling
an 8.
this?
She calls, he's going to need to dodge an 8.
I mean, how do you call with pocket 8s there?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty ugly flop for pocket 8s. What can you beat? Remember, he capped it pre-flop.
A jack, a 10, an 8, or a 9, and a queen, I think. And the river's a jack.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it was just so much that he needed to dodge.
Well, that's the funny thing is a lot of times when somebody, and then what's going to happen now, Michael will turn the hand over.
Now, he bets again, though. And look at how, Michael just check-called there at the end.
No.
And Ace King is no good. Michael's got...
and look at that. She continued to pay off with 8s.
She called all the way with pocket 8s.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
He capped it pre-flop. What can you beat?
Unbelievable.
Now, the funny thing is now Michael turns his hand over, and we've all been there, okay? We've all been there. Michael turns his hand over, and you go, "Oh, what a bad beat! You had to catch you had to catch your trips there."
Right.
But when you don't realize that is, against the entire field, even though Ace King was a favorite to take the hand individually over each hand.
Yep.
Against the whole field, he had to dodge an awful lot of cards.
Dave, this is going to be the last hand of the night. We have an interesting email here by Clay Horning. He says, I love the show, and it's the commentary that makes it. You're giving us something to think about on the turn of every card. Just hearing it should make us better players. Just understanding what each play can mean, might mean, is great poker food for thought. My question is anybody else doing it? Because this is great stuff. Well, thank you, Norman, there. And stick around for our answer tomorrow night. Because this is the last hand of the night. Now, we had a raise here by Shant. He's got another big hand, Dave, because he's got pocket 10s.
Man, he's got a hand after hand,
at least he got some play in only being on the show for about a half an hour.
Not a good flop for pocket 10s,
No.
now. Should be pretty easy for him to get away from it. Pretty straightforward. Pretty good player from what I've seen.
I think he bet because everybody checked to him, and let's see if he shuts down now. Michael's picked up 2 pair now. Yeah, he's not going to bet on the turn now with the 10s. And the river's a 4.
And now into the hearts come out. I mean, he can't beat anything.
Yeah. King 9 is good.
And he's going to lay it down.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, actually,
and Vicky asked for his hand. She wanted to see his hand, Dave. Vicky in seat 6. Classic, right?
Yeah, classic. Well, I think this is actually, I want to say this is the first and only live webcast, right?
Yes.
There you go.
And I think it's the first one that gives pretty in-depth commentary, Dave.
Yes.
And, of course, that's going to do it for us tonight, because if everyone that's new to the show doesn't realize, we do it live. It's unedited. And if you've ever seen the World Poker Tour, if you've ever seen...
Everything. Everything else is
World Series
edited.
of Poker, everything is taped, edited. You don't really get to see a lot of the play leading up to it, which in tournaments is pretty important, right? I mean, you see little snippets of, well, look at how can that guy make that call? Well, we haven't seen the last 3 days.
hours, right. You don't know
what he
that,
did
that player
beforehand.
A has been bluffing left and right to set up player B's thing. Yeah. And once in a while,
and I'm not
we
talking
promise,
about any network,
right?
Specifically ESPN.
And once in a while, we actually even get, that was pretty cool. I like that. Once in a while, we actually even give some good commentary.
That's right.
Yeah.
So for everyone here in the booth and for David Tuckman, I'm Bart Hanson. Join us tomorrow at 6 o'clock Pacific time for Live at the Bike. Good night.
It's here. It's big. And it's closer than you think. It's not a tournament. It's what you don't see on TV. The cash is real. The stakes are high. They bet big. They win big. They lose big. High stakes live action poker. Live at the Bike. Watch it live on the web or play it if you dare at the Bicycle Casino right here in Los Angeles.